Chapter 1322. Anyone who was able to obtain 14 consecutive victories in this competition was definitely at the top. Who did this Chu he even defeat? That's right, he beat Qi Tianqing. Qi Tianqing was the young master of the Bounty Hunter Guild. How strong was he? That went without saying. However, he was defeated by Chu He. Lin Xian also secretly praised. Indeed, the world was big, but there was always a higher mountain. There was always a higher mountain. It didn't mean that the most famous people were the strongest. It was hard to say. Wasn't this an example? However, no matter how strong Chu He was, Lin Xian felt that he couldn't be Morongyu's opponent. Lin Xian knew Morongyu too well. Inside and out, from top to bottom. Lin Xian dared to say that even Morongyu's father and mother didn't know her as well as he did. That was for sure. Therefore, in this round, Morongyu would definitely win. As expected, although Morongyu didn't crush her opponent, she still ended the battle with an advantage. However, it could be seen that Chu He was also very strong. He actually forced Morongyu to use her law of destruction. However, Lin Xian knew that she still had trump cards that she hadn't used yet. For example, 1,000 ice pupils. This was normal. After all, Lin Xian felt that there weren't two people here who could force Morongyu to use her full strength. After that, the battles ended one after another. Everyone had a rough idea of who were the stronger ones among the contestants here. Too cool. It's so cool to watch these people fight. Yeah, they are the strongest group of martial artists in our generation. They really live up to their names. Especially a few of them, wow. They're just too cool. However, did you guys notice that this era seems to have changed? The most amazing thing is that there are more girls than guys. It seems to be true. There seem to be more powerful girls. Times have changed. Alright. Now the first round of the Tianwu assembly has ended. Let's take a look and see which ones are at their peak. Morong Feng said. Then everyone gathered there and raised their heads to look at the big screen. Everyone knew how many rounds they had won, and how many rounds they had lost. The list of 15 victories. Morongyu, Xiao Xinyue, Wu Yuhan. That's right. There were only 3 of them. Han Chuxue and Linging both lost a match. There was nothing they could do as they still had some tricks up their sleeves. However, Lin Xian told them not to push themselves too hard. It was just one match, and they were only 2 points behind the winner. What was the point of that? If he were to injure himself and affect the Tianwu assembly, then the losses would outweigh the gains. Moreover, how many people could achieve complete victory? Most of the strong ones actually had 14 wins and 1 loss. They weren't too far behind, so they didn't go all out. Wang Xintong was a bit worse, only winning 12 matches. There was nothing she could do as her attributes were there. Although she had tried her best to improve herself, with only water and light attributes, how could she fight against lightning, dark, space, and time attribute warriors? Indeed, there were strong and weak attributes. You really couldn't lie through your teeth and say that water attribute was stronger than time attribute. However, every attribute had its own special effect. It wasn't something that could be divided by strength. In the Storm Squad, Wang Xintong's position was never a warrior who would charge into the enemy's ranks. However, she was definitely an indispensable member of the squad. It's a pity. If Lin Xian didn't fight against Morongyu, he might also have a 15-win streak. Xiao Runing, who was standing beside Xiao Zun, secretly said, "That can't be helped. This Lin Xian and Morongyu are good friends. Moreover, the two of them are very strong. If there was a winner, it wouldn't be good for their future. This kid is very good. He only lost 2 points. I believe he will be able to catch up later. However, there are a lot of people with 14-win streaks." Xiao Zun looked at the people with 14-win streaks. There are a lot of people. The competition later on will be even more brutal. I wonder what the content of the last 2 rounds of the Tianwu assembly will be. This was also what everyone was looking forward to. The people who knew about the last 2 rounds of the Tianwu assembly were Morong Feng, Duan Tianming, and the others. Even the leaders of the 3 major factions didn't know. There was only one person who knew, and that was the president of the Radiant Association, an existence that had lived for thousands of years. He didn't come, but he had been paying attention. In order to ensure fairness, He had told one of the representatives of the three major factions. After all, the sons and daughters of the three major factions had also participated in the Tianwu assembly. It was normal to have selfish motives. If they had prepared in advance, they would have a great advantage. What kind of organization was the Radiant Association? A long time ago, the human race had an organization. Morongfeng and Lin Xian had said that it was this organization that had dealt with Di Lin and the 12 demon gods, saving the human race and the demon race from calamity. However, the current Radiant Association was unable to contact the three major factions. Only they could contact the three major factions. They weren't very strong. It was said that the Radiant Association didn't even have 10 members. Those people would only appear when the human race was facing a great crisis. Of course, there was also the special occasion of the God's Awakening Door. This was the first time the Radiant Association had interfered with the God's Awakening Door. This caused the people of the three major factions to be very shocked. However, it was true that the quality of this Tianwu assembly was higher than any of the previous ones. Now that the situation had changed, it was indeed somewhat different from the previous ones. Next, I will talk about the scoring of this competition. The final top 10 will be ranked according to the points. The total points of the first round will be multiplied by 1,000. Every victory will give you 100 points. The total points will be your current total points. Lin Xian. What the hell? Multiplied by 1,000? Lin Xian opened his mouth. Wow. This group of people are really despicable. 15 consecutive victories, multiplied by 1,000, that would be 15,000 points. 14 consecutive victories would be 1,000 points less than 15 consecutive victories. 1,000 points would be a huge difference. Moreover, there would be additional rewards for winning. In other words, those who had 10 consecutive victories would have 1,500 points. His 14 consecutive victories would only have 1,400 points. With this added up, 14 consecutive victories would naturally have 1,100 points less than 15 consecutive victories. Wow. Despicable. In other words, those who had 15 consecutive victories, as long as they didn't make any major mistakes in the later rounds, they would already be in the top 10. I believe that you all have a clear idea of your points. Now let me announce the content of the second round of the Tianwu assembly. The content of the second round: strength and resistance to beatings. Everyone. To be honest, when Morongfeng heard the content of the second round a few seconds ago, he was completely dumbfounded. This round could be said to be very simple. It could be said to be a competition, but it was still a competition. However, wasn't it a bit too sloppy in this level of the Tianwu assembly? Generally speaking, this was the entrance examination of an ordinary academy. Moreover, he could understand if it was a competition of strength. However, he really couldn't understand if it was a competition of resistance to beatings. Chapter 13:23. Not to mention Morongfeng, the other experts, the people from the clans and powers, including the people in front of their phones and computers, were all dumbfounded. This assessment seemed to be very sloppy. Moreover, what was the point of taking a beating? Morongfeng really didn't understand the Radiant Association's intentions. Old Feng, are you sure you didn't say anything wrong? Duan Tianming asked. Morongfeng nodded his head. That's right. The information sent by the Radiant Association's experts is here. He then showed them the information on his phone. Comparing strength is reasonable. Comparing the ability to take a beating is to test the strength of their physique? What's the point of this? Indeed, the more resistant a person is, the higher their survival rate after getting injured in battle. However, forget it. They must have their own intentions. Morongfeng nodded his head and said, their intentions should be inside the God's Awakening Door. That's right. No one knows what's inside the God's Awakening Door. However, everyone who enters and exits the God's Awakening Door has their memories erased. No one knows what's inside the God's Awakening Door. Maybe these experts from the Radiant Association know something about it. Forget it, let's not think about it. We are all humans. This is for everyone's good. They must have their own intentions. Then Morongfeng looked at everyone and said, everyone, rest for a few hours. I will tell you the details later. Then the crowd dispersed. Morongfeng and the others also didn't know how to compete. They had to see what the Radiant Association would give them and some rules. Lin Xian and the others released their space attribute and went to the foot of the mountain. They sat in a corner and Lin Xian created his own law to create the ingredients and hot pot base. The few of them sat there and ate the hot pot. It was very beautiful. The elders didn't disturb them. The children were together. Why would they disturb them? Dad, I'm going to find Xinyue and the others, Xiao Runing said and walked away. You guys are really beautiful. Xiao Runing saw Lin Xian and the girls cooking hot pot. There were even big bones in the hot pot. This was simply too satisfying. Sister, let's eat together, Xiao Xinyue said. When they were with Lin Xian, they didn't learn anything except how to eat. In Lin Xian's words, only when one was full would they have the strength to do strength training. Only when one was full would they be able to endure more vicious beatings. Thinking about it, it did make some sense. Sure. Of course, Xiao Runing didn't stand on ceremony. She sat beside them and started eating hot pot. I don't know how this round of assessment is going to proceed. Looking at my father and the others, it seems like they don't know the content either. Morongyu said. Lin Xian nodded. It seems so. I saw him looking at his phone. Isn't the content of the Sky Martial Assembly decided by the three major powers? Morongyu shook her head. Yes, it used to be like this, but it might not be this time. Could it be that there's another force behind the three forces? Lin Xian asked in shock. Radiant Association. Wu Yuhan said. Ah. What is the Radiant Association? Wang Xintong asked with a puzzled expression. Wu Yuhan said, previously, when I was investigating the Feng family and Chu family, I accidentally found this. The Radiant Association might not be the strongest, but there are many highly respected human experts there. If there's a force behind the three forces, then it's the Radiant Association. Lin Xian had also heard about the Radiant Association from Morongfeng. The rules set by the Radiant Association? But this second round is a little inconceivable. Ling Ying frowned. Han Chuxua also nodded. However, they should know better than anyone else. They must have their reasons. It's related to the God's Awakening Door, Lin Xian said. Morongyu nodded. It must be, but how do they know about the God's Awakening Door? What do you mean? Lin Xian asked in confusion. Morongyu looked at Lin Xian and said, Didn't my father tell you? What did he say? The people who came back alive after entering the God's Awakening Door, they, Ling Ying quickly said. I know. They can't say anything about the God's Awakening Door. Morongyu shook her head. That's what they say to outsiders. One of my brothers came out from the God's Awakening Door. After he came out, he became a core member of the Sacred Palace. Then, I realized that all his memories about the God's Awakening Door had disappeared. Disappeared. Yes, it's not that they can't say anything, but they have lost their memories. I don't know if they lost their memories in the God's Awakening Door, or if it was done by the three forces or the Radiant Association. My father said that he didn't do it, but I don't know if I should believe him or not. Lin Xian nodded. Then it shouldn't be a problem. This is to protect the secrets of the God's Awakening Door. Yes, that's why I'm even more curious about the God's Awakening Door. Also, to be honest, from what I know, 10 people who enter the God's Awakening Door in less than 5 years might not come back alive. But the truth is that those who come back alive have undergone a qualitative change. Morongyu said. This is making me a little scared. Ling Ying shrunk his head. In short, it's good to go, but it's not necessarily bad if you don't go. It's just that no one knows what secrets are hidden in there. Morongyu shook her head. Forget it. Let's not think about this. It's fine as long as we work hard. If we can't go, then there's nothing we can do. Those who can go will definitely not give up such an opportunity. All 7 of us have to go. When the time comes, we can take care of each other. There won't be a problem. Wang Xintong said. I might not have a chance. The difference in points is too big. Lin Xian stared at Wang Xintong. What are you saying? You're doing this again. Have some confidence in yourself. Wang Xintong stuck out her pink tongue. But this second round of assessment is more advantageous for me. Yes, yes, yes. Your skin is thicker than a centipede. You'll definitely be able to take a beating, Xiao Runing said with a smile. Ha ha ha. Then they laughed out loud. On the other side, Xiao Yin, Duanling Xiao, and the others gathered together and smoked. This isn't good. We can't cooperate in the second round of assessment. Xiao Yin said. There will always be a chance. I don't believe that every round of assessment is to test some personal things. There won't be a segment to go out. Don't forget where we are now. We're at the peak of the North Pole. The North Pole. The first and second round of assessment can be carried out in any other city. Why do we have to be at the North Pole? It must be related to the third round. The third round is definitely an open topic. It's definitely related to the North Pole. Duan Lingxiao said. That makes sense. After 2 hours, the bell rang. Then, everyone gathered at the peak of the North Pole again to prepare for the second round of assessment. Chapter 1324. Everyone once again gathered at the top of the North Pole. Murongfeng swept his gaze over everyone and said, Now we will begin the first test of the second round, the strength test. He pointed at the stone beside him and said, This is an ore. Then he pointed to a stone at the side and said, This is the raw power stone. Its effect is similar to some of the talents that you have appraised before. You only need to bombard this stone with your power. The stone will emit a 7-colored light of red, orange, green, cyan, blue, and purple. However, each color of the 7-colored light, such as red, is further divided into light red, medium red, and deep red. Therefore, there are a total of 3,721 levels. Each level that you can reach will give you 500 points. The highest score you can get is 10,500 points. Murongfeng then said, Remember, this round is much faster and simpler than the first round of the martial arts competition. It can even be said that you'll be able to pull more points. Aside from using spirit tools and other tools, you can use all of your own strength to increase your own strength and bombard this raw power stone to obtain even higher points. Therefore, don't say things like other people have space, time is unfair, and so on. Space and time are the most useless attributes in this round. At this time, Xiao Xinyue was puzzled and asked, But our realms are different. The power that we produce should be unfair, right? Yes, this is a good question. However, you don't need to worry about it. This or has already been modified. Simply put, for example, for a 5 stars Empyrean realm expert, the difficulty of producing a deep purple color is 100. For a 4 stars Empyrean realm expert, the difficulty is 90. In short, you don't need to worry about it. It means that it is more difficult for those with lower realms to produce a high score. This is absolutely fair. Hearing this, everyone let out a sigh of relief. Then, they could only bombard it with all their strength. Good, now we will ask the Bounty Hunter Guild to prepare to record. Please stand in an orderly manner. The screen will randomly display your order. One by one you will undergo the strength test. Remember, you only have one chance. Don't tell me that you made a mistake or didn't use all of your strength. You only have one chance. Then 250 people lined up and stood in a line. What attributes would benefit the most in this round? Attack attributes. Fire and thunder had the best effect. Metal attributes could increase strength, and the effect was also very good. Wind, ice, and water attributes were a little worse. Time, space, light, wood, and earth attributes were almost useless. No, time and space attributes were completely useless. This was because it required physical strength. You couldn't just release a martial skill and use a martial skill to attack. That was impossible. You could release a martial skill, but you had to use a fist to support the martial skill. As for why, that was the Radiance Association's idea. They didn't know either. Then their names were displayed on the big screen, and they were all arranged in order. Yi Tianyi touched the tip of his nose. Interesting, I'm the last one? Just nice, I can show off now. This was not a test of talent or anything like that, it was purely a test of strength. However, in terms of strength, Yi Tianyi was definitely the strongest, there was no other. Not to mention other things. His system had something that could double his strength. Next up was Feng Qingyu. And all of this was being broadcasted live. Everyone was only curious about a dozen or so people. Feng Qingyu walked in front of the origin stone. Wind. Shua, following which he unleashed the wind attribute on his right arm. When he swung his arm, it would contain the power of the wind attribute. Fire. Then his fists burst into flames. Heavenly fire, heart-burning fist. Ah. Then with a loud shout, his terrifying fist landed on the origin stone. Following which, the origin stone began to glow. Finally, it stopped at the green color. Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. This Feng Qingyu is also a top-notch fighter. He won 11 out of 15 matches. He's definitely stronger than most of the people here. Can he only produce a green light? And it's even a light green? So difficult. It's really difficult. I suddenly have no confidence. Attributes are also one thing. Moreover, he has the fire attribute, but he can only produce a light green when he uses both wind and fire. It's really difficult. Feng Qingyu's fist gave everyone a rough idea of what to do. It was very difficult. Moreover, no one could say that Feng Qingyu was holding back or not using his full strength. That was impossible. This was related to his ranking and results. How could he hold back? Feng Qingyang frowned when he saw the scene. Although his youngest son's talent was not as good as Feng Ling and Feng Qinghao, it was definitely not bad. It was only a light green and only 6,500 points. His score would be pulled down in an instant. Feng Qingyu lowered his head and walked back. Light green, 6,500 points. It's a total of 17,500 points. Next, the second contestant. One by one, the contestants gave their scores. There were no particularly strong contestants. What surprised everyone was that the highest score was the same as Feng Qingyu. No one could produce a score higher than the light green color. Next, Duanling Xiao. Duanling Xiao walked up confidently. This round was very friendly to him, because he was most famous for his strength. His strength was extremely strong. Sizzle. Terrifying lightning wrapped around his right fist. Thunderous sky-shattering fist. Boom. A terrifying force bombarded the origin stone. Finally, the light stopped at a light purple color. Hiss. Everyone's pupils constricted and they sucked in a breath of cold air. It's a light purple color? That's a little exaggerated. Duanling Xiao is indeed Duanling Xiao. He produced a light purple energy. But this Duanling Xiao's strength should be the strongest among all of them, right? He only produced a light purple color? Who else can compare to him in terms of strength? Lin Xian? Not necessarily. Although Lin Xian beat him, his strength might not be higher than his. However, this Lin Xian is a famous cross-level expert. Can he get a higher ranking? Whether it was the people here or those in front of the screen, they were all amazed. Duanling Xiao frowned slightly. He was somewhat dissatisfied. His strength was only a light purple color? He was really dissatisfied. However, he could only produce a light purple color. It would be difficult for the others. Then one after another, Xiao Yun, Su Jiming, Qin Ming, these top contestants could only produce a medium blue or dark blue color. No one could even produce a purple color. Lin Xian was secretly speechless. It's so difficult. Wang Xintong shrunk her head beside him. It's okay. I'll try my best. Okay. Next, Wang Xintong. Then Wang Xintong walked up. Go Xintong. Ling Ying shouted. Okay. Wang Xintong took a deep breath. Then, she condensed her water elemental energy in her right hand. At the same time, she increased the temperature of her water elemental energy. Boom, she threw a punch. Light green. Wang Xintong walked down. It's okay. That was great. That Feng Qingyu also only produced a light green color. Lin Xian patted her shoulder. Okay. Next, Ling Ying. Chapter 1325. Ling Ying walked up. Ling Hai, who was not far away, stared at his daughter. He was a little worried. This was because his daughter was wind and dark. Dark was completely useless, so she could only use wind. Even if her results were good, it would not be much better than his. Ling Ying naturally knew that this could not be helped. This round of assessment was a test for martial artists with rare attributes. But she had something unusual about her. Where? Dark attribute. Other people's dark attribute was useless, but her dark attribute contained dark energy, including Wu Yuhan's. Where did dark energy come from? It was a power that was discovered after one's dark attribute purity reached 100%. Lin Xian also had dark energy, but his dark energy was obtained from completing a mission. But it was the same. It did not matter. What was so powerful about dark energy? It could break through defenses. Even if it was a raw stone of strength, breaking through defenses would definitely increase one's strength. Ling Ying then condensed dark energy, and with the support of wind attribute, he threw a punch. Everyone. Purple. Medium purple? What? Medium purple? Damn. Why? Why is she able to get a medium purple result? Is she stronger than Duan Ling Xiao? Impossible. We could feel it from the side. How can she be stronger than Duan Ling Xiao? Duan Ling Xiao has the lightning attribute, so he has the biggest advantage. How can he lose to her? She is indeed a goddess. This is unbelievable. She actually got such a high score. She has the highest score so far. Those experts were stunned. Ling Hai was stunned, and even Lin Xian was stunned. Dark energy? Lin Xian frowned, then his eyes lit up. It was definitely dark energy. Damn. He also had dark energy. It's dark energy. The legendary dark energy. What? Is it the kind of dark energy that can break through defenses that can only be comprehended with 100% dark attribute purity? That's right. This was the reason why the darkness attribute was rated as the strongest attribute after the time and space attributes. The darkness attribute's ability to break through defenses was terrifying to the extreme. However, there was no one in this world who could achieve 100% purity in any attribute. Wait. It's Lin Xian. That's right, it's Lin Xian. Don't forget about the Yixian group's attribute increasing potions. Since it can increase by 10%, I dare to believe that 10% is not the limit. So, what is the background of this Yixian group? It was too terrifying. It could actually create an existence with 100% purity. No wonder this Lin Xian's strength is so strong. He must have increased his strength to the maximum. No wonder this Lin Xian's space is stronger than anyone else's space, so the main reason is this. Ling Ying's performance caused an uproar in an instant. The Art Xian group had once again become a god in these people's hearts. Unfortunately, it would be difficult for them to obtain the attribute-boosting potion from the Yixian Corporation. Ling Ying was also shocked. She never thought that the dark force would have such an effect. Next, Han Chuxue got a light purple score, and Morongyu got a medium purple score. After all, she was the best, and she had the thunder attribute. Wu Yuhan medium purple. Dark force. Xiao Xinyue, light purple. Feng Ling, medium purple. That's right, Feng Ling was the most unhappy. Ah! She also had the thunder attribute, but why couldn't she compare to Morongyu? Why was she just a little bit worse? If Morongyu could get a medium purple score, she could also get a medium purple score. However, she used the law of creation to increase her strength. She thought that with the law of creation, she could get the only deep purple score. How infuriating. There were two possible reasons for this. Firstly, Morongyu had a divine body. Her strength wasn't weak to begin with. Although the divine body didn't increase her strength, it still had some effect. Secondly, the purity of her lightning. Zhuge Feng only got a light purple score. After that, only one person, Chu He, got a medium purple score. No one else could get a medium purple score. Finally, it was the last person, Lin Xian. The one that everyone was paying the most attention to was none other than Lin Xian. He had created many legends, and he was the last one. Whether it was the people in front of the screen or the surrounding experts and contestants, they all stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian has the law of creation and the thunder attribute. His score won't be bad. Duan Ling Xiao frowned. Medium purple. That's right, he predicted that Lin Xian would get a medium purple score. After all, Feng Ling also had the law of creation and the thunder attribute. At that time, Feng Ling and Lin Xian were evenly matched, although Feng Ling admitted defeat. Lin Xian, you can do it. Lu Yufan Yi, and the others looked at Lin Xian nervously. He should be very strong. Zichiyue looked at the screen and said calmly, "Come on, come on." Lan Xingxing ate potato chips while staring at the screen without blinking. "Do you think Lin Xian can get a deep purple score?" Yi Renbing hugged little Tian-Yi and looked at Linglong Shui. "He's the only one who can possibly get a deep purple score." Linglong Shui was quite confident in Lin Xian. "Big brother can definitely do it. Big brother, you can do it." Dragoni flew around excitedly. "If Lin Xian doesn't make any mistakes, the God's Awakening door will definitely go. However, is it a good thing for the God's Awakening door to go?" Morongyu pondered for a moment. "Why isn't it a good thing?" Luo Chenxi asked, puzzled. "Because the mortality rate is very high. Forget it, let's not think about it. To him, this person's life is very important. It shouldn't be a problem." "What do you think?" Bai Xianxian asked. Leng Wuxin said, "Medium purple is the lowest. Deep purple is possible." Although she didn't want to admit it and hated him, this person was indeed something. In the 10th Fei God's temple, Xuebingxin, Xuebinglan, and a group of beautiful ladies around Yi Renbing were also watching. "If Lin Xian can get a deep purple score, we must find a chance to eliminate him," Zhao Mingyue said indifferently. Lin frowned slightly. "Then I'll kill you immediately." You can try." Lin Xian walked to the front of the origin stone of strength. Everyone's eyes were fixed on him. "In the past, I needed to keep a low profile. However, reality doesn't allow me to do so. This time, alright, I won't keep a low profile in the future." Lin Xian laughed in his heart. Then lightning gathered in his right fist, followed by dark force. Dark force? Lin Xian has the dark attribute? Oh my god. How many attributes does Lin Xian have? From what I know, fire, wind, lightning, ice, time, space, and now he has the dark attribute. Wait, could it be that he has other attributes? Could it be that he has all attributes? Hiss? Chapter 1326. That's right, Lin Xian's display of the power of darkness stunned everyone. What the F***ck? In other words, Lin Xian didn't use his full strength during the competition? Feng Ling clenched her fists. Really, she really couldn't beat him. Ah. No. She had to win. She had to defeat him. And the only chance to defeat him was after coming out of the God's Awakening door. As long as she got more than Lin Xian in the God's Awakening door, she could defeat Lin Xian. Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly. Double my strength. That's right. He felt that it wasn't enough. Create the law, increase my strength. Lin Xian's punch looked very ordinary. It held the thunder, and was entwined with the dark power. However, the power of this punch was enough to destroy anyone in the Great Void stage. As long as they were not in the Great Void stage with a very high star level. Lin Xian expressed that he had forgotten about the dark force. Otherwise, he would have used the dark force when he was fighting with Feng Ling. Now he should be using his full strength, right? Other than not using any top-notch martial techniques. It was about time. Very strong. Come on. Lin Xian's eyes narrowed. This fist looked like it was just condensed energy, but in fact it contained the power to kill a Great Void stage expert. Then, it landed on the power source stone. Boom. This fist, without talking about other things, just the power of this fist made everyone see that this fist was definitely stronger than anyone before. At that moment, some of the people nearby couldn't react and directly retreated. Those who reacted had to release their spiritual energy to block it. It's so strong. Is this Lin Xian's true strength? He should be using his full strength, right? It should be. In this round of assessment, no one has a reason not to use their full strength. This will pull down points. I think this Lin Xian has a chance to hit a dark purple color. Really, I thought the strongest in this Tianwu conference was Morongyu, Duan Lingxiao, and the others. Who knew that Lin Xian would appear? In the next instant, the light flashed. Red, orange, red, green, blue, blue, purple. It was difficult for everyone to see the change in color, but it directly reached purple. It instantly reached dark purple. Looking at the violently flashing dark purple light, everyone's pupils shrank. Indeed, this Lin Xian is indeed the strongest. The power of the law of creation, purple lightning, and the dark energy, he should have hit a dark purple light. Wait, Wait, look at the power source stone. Suddenly, a voice attracted everyone's attention to the raw stone of strength once again. What had happened? Cracks appeared on the origin stone of strength. Everyone's pupils shrank. What? The power source stone? I know the principle behind this power source stone. It will respond according to the attacker's realm. Simply put, in theory, even if a heavenly Tao realm strength were to land on it, the power source stone will be able to withstand it, and then test the heavenly Tao realm's results. However, when the strength released by the power source stone is far lower than what it can handle, which is to say exceeds its limit, it will be damaged. I also know that. Simply put, a heavenly venerable realm attack power source stone's limit is 200. A heavenly Tao realm attack's limit is 20,000, and when a heavenly venerable realm attack's strength exceeds 200, the power source stone will be damaged. This Lin Xian actually reached such a heaven-defying level? Where did he get his strength from? Even if it's the law of creation, the dark energy and purple lightning augmentation, it shouldn't be so terrifying, right? Everyone was dumbfounded. The reason was simple. Lin Xian had even exchanged for a power source that doubled his strength. When the power of the three was doubled, it wasn't as simple as the power of the lightning being doubled. Bang! At the next instant, the power source stone exploded in front of everyone. Then, Lin Xian was sent flying by the blast of energy. So, an expert charged at Lin Xian and caught Lin Xian. Gulp! Everyone gulped a mouthful of saliva as their heads were filled with question marks. This is a F*** king complete explosion? What kind of monster is this Lin Xian? WDNMD. Not only is this Lin Xian stronger than Morongyu and the other top-notch martial artists, but he's even stronger than them? If this isn't crushing, what is? If it was dark purple, it would only mean that Lin Xian was stronger than them. But now it's crushing. When Duan Lingxiao and company saw this scene, they subconsciously clenched their fists. He was going to die. He was definitely going to die. If he did not die, there would be a person called Lin Xian standing above their heads for the rest of their lives. When they saw this scene, they had a feeling that even if they all entered the God's Awakening door, and this Lin Xian did not enter the God's Awakening door, the things they obtained might not allow them to surpass Lin Xian. This Lin Xian was definitely going to die. No, they had to think of a way to get rid of this Lin Xian. Before he completely rose to power, they had to get rid of him. He was still a heavenly venerable, so there was still a chance. If he reached the absolute void stage, then the chances would be too slim. And he would definitely reach the heavenly Tao. If he reached the heavenly Tao, they would completely lose the chance to kill him. F***K. Linging saw this scene and immediately cursed. Big brother, when we met, you weren't as strong as them. How long has it been? How did you become like this? Wah. It was true. Perhaps in the past, Linging felt extremely unhappy about being Lin Xian's girlfriend, and being ruined by him. But now, she even had a feeling that she was no longer worthy of Lin Xian. Morongyu looked at Lin Xian. He was really much stronger than she was. In the past, she did not think that there was anyone in this world who was so much stronger than her. Of course, she knew that there was always someone stronger than her, but she had never thought that there would be someone who was so much stronger than her. Previously, in the divine realm, they could still win and lose. But now, Morongyu felt that she was no longer Lin Xian's match. She was a strong woman. Even if Lin Xian was her man, she would not allow herself to be so much weaker than Lin Xian. She could not be in the limelight, but she could not admit defeat like this. She had to continue becoming stronger. And Lin Xian had become Morongyu's target. When Feng Ling saw this scene, she clenched her fists tightly. Previously, she felt that she would definitely be able to defeat Lin Xian. Then, she realized that she was not as good as Lin Xian. Now, she was even wondering if she could surpass him and defeat him? It was too exaggerated. Lin Xian landed on the ground and looked at everyone. Can't take a beating. Lin Xian sighed. Everyone. So, it felt good to be pretentious. Chapter 1327. Linglong Shui and the others watched this scene. I still underestimated him. Linglong Shui said helplessly. He really isn't simple, Bing said. Little Sure, who was in Ling Longshue's arms, was clapping happily. For some reason, maybe it was because she saw how dazzling Lin Xian was, and she was clapping for Lin Xian? Who knew? On the other side, Zhao Mingyue frowned as she looked at Lin Xian on the screen. She originally thought that Lin Xian could only be dark purple. She didn't expect him to directly destroy the origin stone of strength. F***ck. Linya looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. He had already grown to such an extent? She was really happy for Lin Xian. In front of all the geniuses in the continent, he was already the most outstanding one. Linya was really proud of Lin Xian. Boss, should we make a move? Zhao Mingyue frowned. She was afraid that if she didn't make a move, when Lin Xian completely matured, she was afraid that, however, because Linya was here, she couldn't directly make a move on Lin Xian. She felt that the best outcome was that she could do her own thing, and Lin Xian wouldn't interfere with her. She also didn't have to deal with Lin Xian. She felt that this was the best outcome. Really, for some reason, she felt that if she made a move on Lin Xian, she would be the one to suffer. She always had this intuition. I won't make a move for now. But boss, didn't you just say that if Lin Xian's results were too good, you would make a move on him? Zhao Mingyue glanced at him and said, I said I won't make a move, so I won't make a move. Are you going to be disobedient or what? If you're disobedient, there are plenty of people to inherit the power in your body. I understand. Lin Xian had shocked everyone, but what could these people do? Lin Xian's martial arts competition had already shocked everyone. This seemed to be within reason. No. But King destroyed the raw stone of power. What the F***ck is this? This was much stronger than they had expected. Much stronger than they had expected. Alright, the first round of the examination is over. Everyone's scores have been displayed on the big screen. Morongfeng said. Wait, I have a question. Lin Xian, what do you want? Lin Xian then said. It's true that I got the highest score, but I made an exception and completed this test. Shouldn't I get extra points? Hearing Lin Xian's words, the experts exchanged glances. In theory, there should be bonus points, but there was no such content. This in theory, yes. But the rules don't have such content, and we can't change the rules at the last minute. So we can't add points. Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. Then why did he work so hard? To act cool? That didn't seem too bad. Alright. Then everyone get ready. We'll proceed with the second test of the second round according to the previous order, the defense test. Everyone please take a look. Then, everyone's gaze gathered on a bed. There were handcuffs and shackles. It looked just like the place where an execution would take place. This is a modified hit bed. After you lie on it, the handcuffs and shackles will be fixed, and the electric shock will begin. The electric shock is divided into 21 levels. Just like the first round, the points will be the same. For every level of electric shock, you'll get 500 points. This electric shock will only cause pain on the spot, but it won't affect your body in any way. This electric shock simulates the power of heavenly thunder. Everyone was secretly astonished. When warriors advanced to the Great Void Realm and the Heavenly Tao Realm, they would attract heavenly punishment lightning. According to each warrior's talent, the number of heavenly thunder they attracted would be different. The more heaven-defying a warrior was, the more heavenly thunder they would attract. At most, it could reach 99 heaven-defying bolts of lightning. However, no one in history had experienced 99 bolts of heaven-defying lightning. Only you could withstand the heavenly thunder. Once you withstood all the heavenly thunder's power, you would have successfully advanced. And if you died under the heavenly thunder, it meant that you had failed. Therefore, this was like a test of the heavenly Tao. If you failed the test, you would die. If you passed, you would enter a powerful realm. Therefore, this round was meaningful. It was also a useful test for them. As for the problem of realms, you don't need to worry. The intensity is different. A 6-star Empyrean can withstand the power of a 6-star Empyrean, and a 5-star Empyrean can withstand the power of a 5-star Empyrean. We have already done the data comparison. In this round of test, you can lie on the bed and release all your strength to resist. But what I want to say is that the effect might not be great. This is because the electric shock's power is not an external strength, but an internal strength. It doesn't matter if you have an earth attribute or a metal attribute to increase your defense, the effect won't be great. What might be effective is the healing of water, light and wood. Moong Fong said. As for how to judge whether or not you have finished, there will be a decibel detector beside your head. When the sound you make exceeds 30 decibels, it will be considered the end. At that time, the level you can withstand will be the level and the score will be the same. This decibel is not only the sound you make in your mouth due to the pain, but also the sound you make when your limbs collide with the jade bed. The sound you make when you shake your arms and the handcuffs will also be considered the final sound collected. Alright, is there anything you don't understand? Moong Fong swept his gaze across the crowd. These experts felt that this was necessary. When they heard that it was a test of defense, they were puzzled. So it was a test of lightning resistance. This was really necessary. Every child here would definitely be able to reach the Heavenly Tao realm in the future. The Great Void Realm and the Heavenly Tao realm both had tests of the thunder of heavenly punishment. It was a good opportunity for them to experience it in advance. Furthermore, from the looks of the Radiant Association, there might be something related to the thunder of heavenly punishment in the God's Awakening door. Everyone shook their heads. All right then. Feng Qingyu, you go first. Feng Qingyu shrunk his head. Ah. He was so miserable. He was the first one again. He was the guinea pig again. Then Feng Qingyu walked over and laid there. His forelimbs were handcuffed. The handcuffs and leg cuffs were specially made. They were unable to break free. Are you ready? Feng Qingyu took a deep breath. I'm ready. Begin the first level. Then a weak sound came out from his throat. As the level of the electric shock slowly increased, Feng Qingyu's expression changed. His body unconsciously twisted slightly. Then he released his spiritual energy. It was useful, but the effect wasn't too great. Finally, when the level reached the 13th level, the sound coming from his throat became louder. When the level reached the 14th level, he cried out in pain. It's over. Your final score is the 14th level. Your score is 7,000. Feng Qingyu walked over with his head covered in sweat. Next. Chapter 13:28. To be honest, they hadn't tried it yet, but they were a little afraid when they saw Feng Qingyu's appearance. The people in front of their phones were watching with interest. In this round of assessment, they felt that it was very interesting. They were judging some people's movements, expressions, and so on. They felt that it was quite fun. Ah, I can't take it anymore. More than 10 people finished one after another. The best was Feng Qingyu, who was level 14. It really wasn't that easy. Then, Lingying kept pacing there. What's wrong? Are you afraid? Lin Xian glanced at Lingying. No, look at how they're lying there. They look so pathetic and ugly. I'll be as ugly as them when the time comes. Aye. Lin Xian, damn. This woman's brain was really wired differently from others. Lin Xian thought she was afraid, but she was afraid of embarrassing herself in front of these people. Damn. Lin Xian rolled his eyes at her helplessly. Damn. Why are you rolling your eyes? Lingying glared at Lin Xian. Ahem, it's nothing. Lingying then rolled his eyes at Lin Xian. If you don't believe me, ask Xintong and the others if they're afraid. Lin Xian then looked at Wang Xintong. Wang Xintong stuck out her tongue a little embarrassedly. It's okay. However, her eyes told Lin Xian that she was also a little afraid of embarrassing herself in front of everyone. But it was okay if everyone wanted to try, right? Wang Xintong. Yes. Wang Xintong then walked up. Good luck, you have the dual healing effect of water and light attributes. It shouldn't be too bad. Lin Xian looked at Wang Xintong and said. Yes. Lin Xian was quite confident in Wang Xintong. This girl might not be strong, but her endurance was definitely not bad. Many men might not be able to beat her. Then Wang Xintong lay on it. It was only when she reached level 10 that she gradually showed some signs. Even when she reached level 15, she didn't make more than 30 decibels. Wow, this beautiful girl is really amazing. There are so many men in front of her who are at most level 15, but she's able to endure until level 15. And she's at least level 16. She's going to break the record. Isn't this the pretty girl who only managed to get a light cyan color from before? I didn't expect her to be so weak, but her endurance. Really, I have to give her a big thumbs up. Where can she go? At level 16, Wang Xintong released light and water to heal. At level 18, she finally couldn't take it anymore. The sound of her hands being pulled, and the sound of the handcuffs made her stop. Phew! Wang Xintong sat up, panting heavily. The hair in front of her forehead was already wet. So good. Ling Ying and the others exclaimed, "It's really good." Wang Xintong then ran over and stood quietly. Duan Lingxiao. In the end, Duan Lingxiao stopped at level 19. How should it be said? In the eyes of the others, it was normal for him to reach level 19. Duan Lingxiao was a little unhappy. He felt that it was reasonable for him to not be able to reach dark purple in strength. He couldn't increase it anymore. But for things like endurance, he could forcefully endure it. No matter what, he could continue to increase it. But at level 19, he really couldn't endure it anymore. Ling Ying, Han Chuxue, Wu Yuhan, Xiao Xinyue, they were all level 17. There was nothing they could do about it. Although their battle prowess was strong, who would deliberately cultivate this kind of defensive endurance? They were confident that they could reach level 18 if they had water attribute healing, but they didn't. Feng Ling walked up and finally stopped at level 20. Hiss! Everyone sucked in a breath of cold air. A girl who had reached level 20 was able to suppress Duan Lingxiao. What could Duan Lingxiao do? This Feng Ling had the law of creation. What could he do? How could he compete? Morong Yu, level 21. F*CK. F*CK? What's going on? Level 21? F*CK, level 21? A girl had reached level 21? She didn't create the law of creation, right? How could she reach level 21? This is too exaggerated. A girl reached level 21? Full marks. Can she endure it that much? Hiss. Really, everyone knew that Morongyu was strong. But strong was strong. It had nothing to do with endurance and defense. How could she last 30 seconds at level 21? There were only a few people present who knew about this, but Lin Xian knew. Divine body. That's right, divine body. This divine body was much stronger than any water attribute or wood attribute body. This was also within Murong Yu's expectations. Zhuge Feng stopped at level 18. It couldn't be helped. It was really difficult. In the end, it came to Lin Xian once again. Everyone's eyes gathered on Lin Xian again. Lin Xian was lying there. Let's start from level 15. Lin Xian said. Everyone. What the F*CK? This Lin Xian? What's going on? Is he so pretentious? But I have to say, although he's pretentious, I think he's qualified. I used to think that he was a pretentious guy, but today I realized that he's qualified. He must have confidence in himself. Ling Longshui and the rest shook their heads helplessly. Okay, they were used to it. Are you sure? Don't you need a slow process of adaptation? Lin Xian shook his head. No need. Okay then. Since it's your request, we'll go straight to level 15. But if you can't endure the sudden pain and make a sound, then there won't be a second chance. Morong Feng reminded. Come on. Okay, counting down 3, 2, 1. In the next moment, Lin Xian felt the pain all over his body. He finally understood why so many men were placed at level 12 or 13. Level 15 was really too much. But to Lin Xian, it didn't matter too much. Level 16. Level 17. Level 18. Lin Xian adjusted his breathing. Suddenly he thought of something. The law of destruction. Lin Xian directly used the law of destruction on himself, and destroyed his pain nerves. It didn't matter to him if it was destroyed temporarily, but people couldn't be without pain nerves because it would affect other aspects. If the pain nerves were gone, the other nerves might not be able to transmit. Moreover, if you were injured in battle, you wouldn't know how serious your injuries were and wouldn't be able to react flexibly. It was very dangerous. Therefore, it needed to be preserved and couldn't be removed permanently. In any case, he had the law of creation. He could just restore it after he was done. Then everyone was stunned. Why did Lin Xian's expression suddenly become so calm? Didn't you feel pain? Chapter 1329. Lin Xian knew that the pain from the lightning was harmless. If you fainted from the pain, it would be because your body was protecting you and making you lose consciousness. It wouldn't cause any harm to your body. Lin Xian knew that it wouldn't cause any harm to him, so he directly cut off the pain nerves. Anyway, it wasn't a big deal. Lin Xian just lay there like that, calmly looking at the clouds in the sky with his eyes wide open. Everyone. Level 20. When the pain reached level 20, Lin Xian's expression didn't change at all. Everyone was stunned. If he was faking it, and the intensity of the lightning suddenly increased, his expression didn't change at all. If he was faking it, how could he be faking it? Wasn't this too inconceivable? Gulp. What kind of monster is this Lin Xian? Why doesn't he have any expression of pain? He's already level 20. Morong Yu also couldn't bear it when she reached level 20, but this Lin Xian's expression didn't change at all. The strength of his body couldn't have reached such a terrifying level, right? Although this is simulated lightning, and there's a substantial difference between it and real lightning, the pain is still very real. Hiss. What kind of monster is this? That's right, Lin Xian was lying there, but once again, everyone was dumbfounded. Don't you fucking feel pain? Level 21. Morong Feng looked at Lin Xian as if he had seen a ghost. Level 21, the strongest level. Lin Xian didn't show any signs of pain. He was still lying there and blinking at the girls. Everyone. This was why the law of creation and the law of destruction were so powerful. Because these two great laws could be released according to one's will. As long as one's imagination was big enough, as long as it was within the scope of one's ability, then these two great laws could be used to great effect. Therefore, people who had these two laws had flexible minds and knew how to adapt to situations. For example, Morong Yu had the law of destruction, but she couldn't think of Lin Xian's method. Okay. 30 seconds have passed. Morong Feng gulped as he looked at Lin Xian. Once again, Lin Xian had shocked everyone. How had he managed to hold himself back? It didn't seem like it. Could he not feel pain? This shouldn't be the case. Wait a minute, Uncle Morong. Is the CD bed broken? Why doesn't Lin Xian look like he's in pain? Duan Ling Xiao couldn't take it anymore. Could this Lin Xian be any more heaven-defying? He had personally experienced this kind of pain, so he knew how unbearable it was. However, this Lin Xian was so calm and collected. Young Master Duan, why don't you try? Lin Xian turned to look at Duan Ling Xiao and said, let's try it. Duan Ling Xiao then walked over and slowly reached out to touch the electroshock bed. The next moment, his entire body trembled, and he quickly pulled his hand back. F***ck. It was so painful. How did this Lin Xian endure it? You said that they had the lightning attribute, so it was reasonable for them to be a little immune to this kind of electric shock. However, wasn't it too exaggerated for him to be completely immune? Duan Lingzhao's performance also made everyone understand that Lin Xian was enduring a great deal of pain, yet he was still able to act as if nothing had happened. His tone didn't even change. This person, F***ck. Amazing. Can you tell what's the reason? Yirenbing asked Linglong Shui. Linglong Shui shook her head. I can't tell. I don't understand. Logically speaking, he's also enduring this kind of intense electric shock. Could it be that he's immune to the power of lightning? It can't be, right? It shouldn't be. There should be some other reason. This kid really knows how to give people unexpected surprises. Lin Xian then stood up. Lin Xian, full marks for this round. Lin Xian's lips curled slightly, then he looked at his ranking. Second place. First place was Morong Yu. However, the gap between him and Morong Yu was very small. What Lin Xian wanted to do next was to see what the third round's content was. He wanted to see if he could use his ability to help Wang Xintong, who had a lower score, enter the top 10. Ling Ying and the others weren't too sure either, so he wanted to see what the third round's content was. Alright everyone, rest for half a day. After dawn tomorrow, we'll announce the content of the third round. The North Pole summit is rather cold, so everyone should go down the mountain and rest. Morongfeng said. Then everyone dispersed one after another. Let's go. Lin Xian and the girls released their spatial attribute and went down to a corner to take shelter from the wind. Once again, they set up a hot pot. Very happy. Then, Lin Xian used the law of creation to repair his pain nerves. The moment Lin Xian's pain nerves were repaired, he felt an electric current running through his body. Then Lin Xian convulsed there. Girls. Hey, big brother, are you okay? They hurriedly looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian used the law of creation to repair his body. There was no other way, he had been up there for too long, so it was inevitable that there would be some residual electricity left in his body. I am fine, there's just a bit of electricity left. Big brother, why are you only reacting now? Linging looked at Lin Xian in confusion. Ha, the reaction arc is a bit slow. Lin Xian scratched his head. A day passed just like that. The content of the second day wasn't broadcasted, so the rest of the continent couldn't see it. Ning, you have to watch this Lin Xian carefully. In the Xiao family's tent, Xiao Zun looked at Xiao Runing and reminded her. Until now, he still thought that Lin Xian and Xiao Runing were a couple. Got it, Dad. I reckon that Lin Xian will have a lot of wives in the future. There's no other way. This kid is indeed outstanding, us old fellows can see it, but you have to fight for your future position. Xiao Zun warned again. Got it, Dad. Xiao Runing was helpless. She and Lin Xian weren't a real couple. Although the two of them had done it many times, they had never established a relationship, so they shouldn't be a couple, right? Sigh, so annoying. Let's go, the third round of the examination is about to begin. I don't know what the third round is about. When you were young, why didn't you participate in the Sky Martial Assembly and choose to be a teacher? Otherwise, you wouldn't be just a Sky Venerable now. Xiao Zun sighed. But what could he say about his daughter's choice? He just felt a bit unreconciled. His eldest daughter should have been able to reach a higher realm by now. It was just that being a teacher distracted him and wasted his time. I like that kind of life, Xiao Runing said. Sigh. Let's go up and see what the content of this round of examination is. Let's see what kind of surprises this Lin Xian can bring us. At the top of the North Pole, everyone once again gathered there. Chapter 1330. It was the Radiant Association's idea to hold the Tianwu Conference at the North Pole. The previous two rounds had nothing to do with the North Pole. The third round's final test must be related to the North Pole. Lin Xian and the others looked at Morongfeng. They were looking forward to the third round's final test. Morongfeng, Duan Tianming, and the others looked at the crowd. Is everyone here? Duan Tianming asked. Then they nodded, and everyone was here. Good. Since everyone is here, I'll talk about the content of the final round of the Tianwu Conference. Everyone looked at him nervously. Lin Xian was nervous because he wanted to give Wang Xintong and the others a chance to advance. Therefore, Lin Xian was concerned about whether the content of this round could help them. What was Duan Lingxiao and the others nervous about? This round must be the kind of content that could help them attack Lin Xian or obstruct him. Then Duan Tianming said, the content of the third round is to attack the demon race. What? Hearing Duan Tianming's words, everyone looked at each other in dismay. Attack the demon race? Attack the demon race in the third round? Duan Tianming smiled and said, of course it's not to attack the demon race like the demon god temple. It's also not to attack the big forces of the demon race. What you need to do is to clear out all the demon race forces near the North Pole with 250 people. Everyone looked at each other in dismay. Is it really enough to rely on just us? They looked at each other in astonishment. Then Duan Tianming said, there aren't many demon beasts in the North Pole. However, they threaten the safety of the people in Icy City and the surrounding cities every day. There are even more cases of demon beasts invading human territory to attack humans than any other city. Originally, we planned to send troops to destroy this place. However, it just so happens that the Tianwu Conference is around the time. Therefore, we'll leave it to you. There's no place more suitable for this test than here. Some people knew the North Pole quite well. What was the situation? Why was this place more suitable for their test? First of all, the North Pole was very big and very spacious. Although the terrain was complicated with ups and downs, it was much more comfortable than a forest in some aspects. Secondly, there were some Fey forces or races in the North Pole. Some of the Fey were nomadic and had no fixed abode to look for food. Some of the Fey were organized and even took human form to preside over the overall situation. This kind of Fey had basically taken root in the North Pole and even built houses and territories. Generally speaking, the territory of a race was a type of demonic beast. There could be many types of demonic beasts, and that was called power. This type was relatively strong. However, how strong could the strongest realm be? The Great Void stage was the limit. Furthermore, the other side would not be very high-level Great Void realm stars. Most of them were heavenly venerables at the peak. It was just that there were quite a few heavenly venerables. Some of the smaller ones were only at the domain realm. These were the main culprits of the disaster in Icy City and other cities. They liked to eat human flesh. Sometimes they would burrow into the ground and enter Icy City and drag people away. Therefore, whenever a burrow appeared in Icy City, it meant that someone had suffered. Then there was a Fey God temple here. It was called the Ice God Temple, the second Fey God Temple. However, this Fey God Temple was very far away in the sea. Moreover, this Fey God Temple was usually more peaceful. Therefore, as long as this place was eradicated, the few cities here would be very safe. When the others heard the content of this test, they could not help but be shocked. The content of this test was somewhat dangerous. They could not help but worry about their children. Come, everyone, take this. Then, someone gave each of them a blueprint. Lin Xian glanced at it. There were some letters on it. Lin Xian did not understand the specific meaning. This is very important. I hope you can keep it in your interspatial rings. This is the distribution map of the nearby forces. We have divided it into a total of 300 large and small demon forces. They are divided into a total of 5 grades: BAS, SS and SSS. The lowest grade is B, and the leader is probably at the domain realm. It won't be a problem for you. The leaders of the A-grade forces are basically at the heavenly venerable realm, but it won't be too high. When it becomes an S-grade force, the number of heavenly venerables in the demon force will be quite high. When it becomes an SS and SSS rank force, there will be demon experts at the Great Void realm. We have already marked the location and letter rating of each force on the map. There are a total of 300 forces. There are about 15 SSS grade, 30 SSS grade, and 80 SSS grade. Everyone had a rough understanding of the surrounding 1,000 miles. Duan Lingxiao and the others' eyes suddenly lit up. Beautiful. This was a free test. No matter where they were, where they went, and what they did, they were free. There was no problem even if they were to lie down and sleep. This also meant that they could make a move on this Lin Xian. They definitely could not kill Lin Xian. They did not dare to because they might be exposed. Moreover, their whereabouts might be seen by these experts. She did not know if they had the ability to do so. But to be safe, they definitely could not do so. Secondly, they were probably not Lin Xian's match. However, they could compete with Lin Xian. There would definitely be a test of results. As long as Lin Xian could not compete with them, his results would be pulled down step by step. Moreover, as the only content with a degree of freedom, this would definitely be the one that pulled down the most points. There was a chance. This president of the trial union, isn't this test a little too dangerous? A parent of a student asked worriedly. It's very dangerous, but it's also not dangerous. You can completely understand it as your children going to the demonic beast domain to farm monsters to increase their realm. However, this time, it's targeted. Moreover, your children are not simple. Another point is that we have already marked the strength of the forces on the map. They are still very clear about their own strength. They can distinguish which forces can and cannot go. Then Duan Tianming paused and continued. Of course, if you really feel that it's dangerous, we will definitely not force you. You can give up, but I don't think any of you will give up. For those who were ranked low, this was their chance to make a comeback. Now for those who were ranked high, it was even more impossible for them to give up. Moreover, you can form a team. There's no limit to the number of people in a team. Hearing this, they revealed shocked expressions. Of course, there are pros and cons to forming a team and not forming a team. What I'm going to say next are the rules. Chapter 1331. They only knew that there were a total of 300 large and small forces. Basically, the realm of each force's powerful figures. However, they had to pay attention to the rules. How to score and how much to score. Duan Tianming glanced at everyone and said, "The rules are very simple. You will compete for the right to attack a total of 300 forces. The reward for destroying a B-grade force is 2,000 points, an A-grade force is 10,000 points, an S-grade force is 50,000 points, an SS-grade force is 100,000 points, and an SSS-grade force is 200,000 points." Hiss, hearing this, they sucked in a breath of cold air. B-grade forces were only worth 2,000 points while SSS-grade forces were worth 200,000 points. The difference between them was obvious. However, the most powerful B-grade forces were those in the domain realm. If you could destroy them with a wave of your hand, the 1,000 points would be obtained with a wave of your hand. As for SSS-grade forces, the most powerful ones were those in the Great Void realm. Their realms might not be too low. SS-grade forces had Great Void realm experts, but there might be more than one of them. To them, SSS rank was basically very difficult, because they were all in the Heavenly Venerable realm. After all, it wasn't that easy to defeat a Great Void realm expert. Moreover, the risk of losing their lives was extremely high. This left them with more choices. If they wanted to get more points, that would be S-grade forces. Although the points were high, in terms of danger, it wasn't as high as SS or SSS grade forces. Competition. There were a total of 250 people and 300 forces. The A-grade forces would have 10,000 points, and the S-grade forces would have 50,000 points. As for B-grade forces, the points were too little, although it was very simple. However, you can choose to form a team. However, if you choose to form a team, for example, if you form a team of 5 and annihilate an S-rank organization, then the 50,000 points of the S-rank organization will be divided equally among the 5 of you. If you're alone, the points will be yours alone, Duan Lingxiao said. Therefore, this was the benefits of forming a team, and each person had their own benefits. It was safe to form a team. However, if the points were divided, each person might have less points. However, it was dangerous to have more points. Lin Xian pondered for a moment. If it was an individual, he would choose to join a B-grade force. There were so many B-grade forces. Very few would choose to join a B-grade force. If one joined a B-grade force, it would be 2,000 points. It seemed that the points weren't too low. However, it was a long journey. The furthest two of these forces were thousands of kilometers away. It would be best to attack a powerful force. Although it would be dangerous, there would be more points. In this round, it was really going to be a competition that would pull down points. Maybe if you fight one less force and they fight one more force, they will have tens of thousands more than you. But at the same time, the competition was great. Then I'd like to ask, what if we attack a certain force together? How do you calculate the points? Feng Qinghao then asked. That's a good question. At that time, each of you will have a locator installed on your body. We will be able to see your location and see who came first and who came later. At that time, you will need to keep the demon crystals of one or several leaders of each force, so that we can identify which force you destroyed. One more thing. Duan Tianming glanced at the crowd and said, which force will be destroyed in the end? We will judge based on each of you and your team's route, the time you stay in a certain force, and the demon crystal of the leader of the corresponding force. You are forbidden to kill each other for demon crystals. If you are discovered, you will be disqualified immediately. Originally, this should also be a part of the assessment. However, I do not wish for some of you to not attack the demon clan, and only think of picking up ready-made items to attack your own people. Therefore, this aspect is forbidden. Of course, it is not a problem for you to fight for the force. For example, if Team A wants to go to a certain S-grade force, and Team B wants to go too. If you all go, who will take down the force in the end will depend on who has the leader's demon crystal. If it is in Team A's hands, then it will be Team A's points. Team B will only be working for Team A. However, during this period, if the demon crystal is in someone's hands, as long as you touch it, you will not be able to snatch it again. If you are discovered, report it directly with your mobile phone. After we verify, you will be disqualified immediately. Lin Xian was secretly speechless. They were really considerate. Duan Lingxiao's lips curled. Although they were not allowed to kill each other, stopping them was not a problem. Moreover, if they competed with each other and went to a force together, whoever killed the leader and took out the demon crystal would get it. Then this could effectively prevent them from scoring and waste their time. Now, if a team had the spatial attribute, it was definitely good news. It could save a lot of time on the road. However, we rather encourage you to compete with each other and not kill each other. We rather encourage you to fight for a force together. This way, it will also increase the difficulty for everyone and increase the places you can train. Therefore, when the time comes, each of you will be able to obtain a map. Just download it on your mobile phone. Duan Tianming then continued. This map will be the map on the paper in your hands. It will mark the points of each force, as well as each of your whereabouts, including your name. It can even search for your name, location, and distance. Including if you destroy a force, you need to make a selection on your mobile phone and mark it. When the time comes, take out the leader's demon crystal. This way, we will know that the force was destroyed by you. It can also let others know that the force is gone, saving time. If you do not mark it, even if you have the leader's demon crystal, it will be considered that you did not defeat the force. Everyone. Duan Lingxiao's eyes lit up. This was another piece of good news. When the time comes, each of you will also receive a teleportation crystal. This is used to protect you. I don't need to explain the use of the teleportation crystal. If you use it when you encounter danger, you will come here. At the same time, it means that you have lost your qualifications, and the points you have obtained will be reset to 0. In addition, this operation will last for a total of 15 days. In these 15 days, arrange for rest and battle reasonably. I hope that nothing will happen to you. Also, pay attention to the time. If no one comes here in the morning after 15 days, it will be considered the same. Now I will give you 1 day to find someone to team up with. You can also act alone. Tomorrow, gather here 3 hours early, and we will record it for you. Then, everyone dispersed. To team up or alone? This was a question, but most people would definitely choose to team up. Why? It was safe, and they could attack a powerful force. Although they needed to split the points equally, the total points were high. Moreover, spatial attribute martial artists were definitely the most popular. 15 days, there was a time limit. Some forces were very close, and there might be a few or a dozen within a radius of 10 miles, but some might be hundreds of miles away. The time spent on the road was all points, and spatial attribute was definitely useful. Chapter 1332. With their cultivation at the Empyrean realm, it was difficult for them to do a spatial leap of more than 100 kilometers, but it was definitely not a problem for them to do tens of kilometers. At the Great Void realm, they could do it more than 100 kilometers. At the Heavenly Tao realm, they could do it thousands or even tens of thousands of kilometers. And time was extremely important for the third round of tests. Don't underestimate the fact that they had half a month. They might have to spend more than half of their time on the road. They might even need a day or two to take down powerful demon factions. As long as they did not have absolute strength, what could they do with just a few people? Lin Xian and company gathered together. What do we do? Linging asked as he sat there, swinging his legs. Form a team, Lin Xian said. Form a team? Lin Xian nodded. That's right. You, me, little Chuxue, little Xinyue, little Yu, little Yuhan, and little Xintong should be powerful enough. Together, we should be one of the few that can challenge an SSS-ranked faction, right? Don't bother with SSS-ranked factions. We don't know how many Great Void Realm experts there are. SS is enough. SSS-ranked factions are too dangerous. Ling Ying rolled his eyes as he said, "If you don't want to fight, others will." Lin Xian said, Who can fight?" "Yes." Lin Xian pursed his lips. On the other side, Duan Lingxiao had already walked towards Feng Ling. "Miss Feng, let's cooperate," Duan Lingxiao said with a smile. Feng Ling had a space. Although Xiao Yin also had a space among them, Feng Ling's strength was obvious. With her, she was more useful than Xiao Yin and company. Feng Ling frowned slightly. "There's no need. I'll be with my brother and the rest." Duan Lingxiao then said with a smile, "There's no need to be with them, right? They aren't weak either." "What are you trying to say?" Feng Ling shot a glance at Duan Lingxiao. "Let's cooperate. Look, what's the lineup on Lin Xian's side? Other than that Wang Xintong who's slightly weaker, which one of them is weak? With the few of them in a team, do you think the 7 of them can take up 7 spots in the top 10? Upon hearing this, Feng Ling took a look. That was a possibility. The 7 of them were too strong. If they formed a team, they might really occupy 7 spots in the top 10. Then there would only be 3 spots left. It was really hard to say if she would be able to fight for one. After all, it was only 15 days. Besides, it's not like we can't add you, Feng Qinghao, and Feng Qingyu. Besides, our team has Chuhi and Qi Tianqing. Feng Ling furrowed her brows and began to think. Chuhi and Duan Lingxiao had top-notch strength. Including her brother, and Qi Tianqing. They could be considered as the top 5. There was also Xiao Yun, Su Jiming, and Qin Ming. These 3 were also very strong existences. And her brother Feng Qinghao, 8 people. Their lineup might not necessarily be inferior to Lin Xian's lineup. Moreover, we can stop Lin Xian and the others. Stop them for what? Think about it. The 7 of them occupy 7 spots. It's very possible that we can stop Lin Xian from entering the God's Awakening door. In this way, we know, won't you shorten the gap between you and Lin Xian? When you come out, Lin Xian might not be your opponent. Feng Ling pondered for a moment. Don't think that I don't know that you're also targeting Lin Xian. So we're on the same side, isn't that right? Feng Ling snorted coldly. I won't do such a despicable thing. Miss Feng, I'm afraid you've misunderstood something. Despicable? How are we despicable? My father already said that we can't kill each other in this competition, but we can compete with the same faction. We can even compete with each other. When we stop Lin Xian, we'll just be fighting with the other factions. There's no need for any schemes or tricks. Feng Ling pondered for a moment. It seemed reasonable. Are you sure you can beat them? We have 9 people in our team. Can't we beat the 7 of them? On this point, Duan Lingxiao was quite confident. Although they were strong, their team wasn't weak either. They had more people than them. They might not win, but they might not lose. All right, I'll join. Feng Ling nodded. With the 3 from the Feng family joining, we'll be like a tiger with wings. But with 9 people, when the time comes, the 9 of us can even try to become an SSS rank force. Only Lin Xian's team and us can try to become an SSS rank force. The strongest are basically in our 2 teams. Duan Lingxiao said. We can try. What was the strength of the human race over the demon race? It was the laws and the territory. Only a small number of demons had laws and territory. Relatively speaking, once a human reached this level, they would be able to comprehend them. It was just a matter of whether their comprehension was strong or weak. For the demon race, only geniuses like Linglong Shui and Yi Renbing could have them. The few of them could make use of this gap to reduce the disparity in strength. Then it's settled? Tomorrow morning, the 9 of us will form a team. Duan Lingxiao smiled. I need the leader. You'll be the leader? Duan Lingxiao asked. Forget it. I don't like to command. You'll be the leader. Then it's settled. I'm happy to work with you. Duan Lingxiao smiled and extended his hand to Feng Ling. Feng Ling didn't extend her hand. She turned around and said, I'm only working with you to prevent Lin Xian's team from entering the God's Awakening door. I'm only working with you to fight for a chance for my brother, and me to enter the God's Awakening door. Once it's done, all 9 of us will enter. Duan Lingxiao smiled. Lin Xian's team of 7 had formed a team. They were quite enjoying the time of working together. Mainly, Lin Xian's territory and Wang Xintong's territory would directly reduce the disparity. One would reduce the opponent's realm while the other would increase their realm. Forming a team? Lin Xian walked to Zhuge Feng's side and asked. Zhuge Feng smiled and said, "Forget it. I won't form a team. I'll do it alone." "You'll do it alone? Are you sure?" Lin Xian asked in surprise. Zhuge Feng nodded. "And I'll do it alone. I won't drag you guys down." Lin Xian shrugged his shoulders. This Zhuge Feng probably had some plan. "All right. Then I'll see you at the God's Awakening door." "Ah, good. See you at the God's Awakening door." What did it mean to do it alone? It meant that they had given up on SS, SSS, or even S-rank forces. The others were in despair. Damn it. Some of the strongest people had F*King teamed up with each other. What could they do about it? Damn it. What were they regretting now? Why couldn't their results in the first 2 rounds be better? However, the only good news was that they had formed a team and had more people. If things went well, the points they would get wouldn't be much higher than theirs. A day passed just like that. The next morning arrived quickly. Chapter 1333. Everyone gathered at the peak of the North Pole once again. They were preparing for the final round of assessment in 15 days. Lin Xian had never seen an assessment that lasted for 15 days. It was really an eye-opener. But it should be quite meaningful. Sigh, when he thought about how Lin Xian hadn't touched any of the girls around him for the next half a month, plus the previous week. He felt wronged. He wouldn't be able to touch any of them for the next half a month. How could he touch any of them if he stayed with them for the next half a month? Unless Lin Xian wanted to die. Then the information of each of them, whether they were acting alone or in a team, and who were the members of the team were all done. Then, everyone's information and the team's information were all entered into the system. This is each of your phones. The phones only have a few functions, which is to check the map and check everyone's location, and whether their forces have been attacked. It's considered as your support function. This is a teleportation crystal for each of you. This is a life-saving tool for you. We've understood that there aren't any demonic beasts in this area. Therefore, you can use the teleportation crystal to escape without any pressure. Again, whoever uses it will be eliminated. After a pause, he continued. Also, this is the breath-holding pill developed by the 3 major forces. For 6 hours after taking it, you can breathe underwater. Even the surface of the water is no different from the surface. Because there are forces at the bottom of the sea, you can take this breath-holding pill. Each of you can take at most 3. Duan Tianming glanced at everyone and said, as Duan Lingxiao's father, Duan Tianming would definitely side with his son. But what was the use of siding with his son? He couldn't open a back door. When he knew about his son's plan and the information of the team members, what should he say? Screw it. If they didn't mess with Lin Xian and the others, with their combined strength, it would be very terrifying. Perhaps the few people with lower scores would be brought up in this round. In other words, the 7 of them had a higher chance of entering the God's Awakening door. This was the same as Duan Lingxiao's thought. There was no choice because they were too strong. Especially in the test 2 days ago, Lin Xian displayed inhuman abilities. If they were not strong, then there was no need to worry about this. Therefore, if they didn't do anything, the 7 of them would advance to the next round, and there would only be 3 spots left. At this stage, Feng Ling's score was even higher than Duan Lingxiao's. Chu He's score wasn't too far behind, and Qi Tianqing and Zhuge Feng's scores weren't too far behind either. Feng Qinghao was not too far off. It was even possible that eliminating a single B-rank organization would determine their final 3 positions. There were 4 people who were very close to Duan Lingxiao, and one of them even had a higher score than Duan Lingxiao. With the space and the creation of the wind chimes, if there were no special circumstances, Duan Lingxiao would only be able to fight for the last 2 places. Naturally, he did not have much confidence in winning. In that case, they might as well work together and drag Lin Xian and the others down while they climb up. Dragging Lin Xian and the others into the water might seem like Duan Lingxiao's idea, But it was actually good news for Chu He, Qi Tianqing, Feng Qinghao, and even Zhuge Feng, who didn't join them. This was good news for wind chimes. They were not fools. They all knew that Lin Xian and the others were very strong, so why would they still want to join? Because they knew that this was their chance. All right. I don't have anything else to say. It's now 5:50 in the morning. 15 days later. Gather here at 6 o'clock in the morning. You'll fail if you're late by even a second. Now everyone can set off. I've prepared a car for you to speed up your journey. This is the only way we can shorten your journey. Good luck. Then the 250 people sped off in all directions. There were all sorts of big and small forces in all directions. They must have already discussed which force to go to last night. There would definitely be people from different teams going to the same force. At this time, it would depend on their choice. Would they fight for it directly? Or would they change their strategy for the sake of stability? The corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled up. Then, the 7 of them took out some sort of weapon that looked like a jet launcher at the same time. Everyone was stunned. What is this? I don't know. Damn. They can fly. And they're so fast. This is definitely much better than using a car. There are many places where cars can't be driven. They have to take a detour or even abandon the car. They can just fly over. There's no need to take a detour. They have the space attribute, but you can't keep using the space attribute. You have to consume your spiritual power. And the process of recovering your spiritual power is very long. Therefore, during this time, you still need other things to travel. Even if they have 2 space attribute martial artists, if you want to attack a more powerful demon race organization, you're in a hurry and your spiritual power is used up. If Lin Xian or Morong you didn't have enough spiritual power, would you dare to attack them? You definitely wouldn't. They only have half a day. They definitely didn't have time to prepare these things. Could it be that they prepared it in advance? That's impossible. Who would prepare this thing in advance? Could it be that they already knew the contents of the 3rd round of assessment? Many people looked at Morong Feng and the others in confusion. I can only say that it's impossible for them to know the contents of the 3rd round of assessment. As for this rocket launcher, I can only think of last night Lin Xian used the law of creation to create it. Morong Feng said. Hiss, they took a deep breath. This is really a genius. He can even think of this. Actually, it's not difficult to think of it, but if they really think in this direction, then their team's advantage will be reflected. Then everyone looked at Feng Ling and Duan Lingzhao's team. Feng Ling gritted her teeth. Damn it. Why didn't she think of using the law of creation to create a tool in advance? Feng Ling, you come too. Duan Lingzhao said. Okay. Then Feng Ling released the law of creation and began to create. They were already 1 step behind, but where were they behind? Feng Ling's spiritual power. After Lin Xian and the others rushed over, Lin Xian directly released his space energy. They were already dozens of kilometers away, and then continued to use the rocket launcher to hurry on their way. As for Feng Ling's side, she created on the spot, causing her spiritual power to not be much, so she was short of Lin Xian and the others by dozens of kilometers. Obviously, Lin Xian and the others were going to an S-rank force at the very least, and it might even be an SS rank force. The nearest S-rank or SS rank force was nearly 100 kilometers away, so when they started fighting, Lin Xian's team would have already finished off a force. It's fine. We have 15 days, so we're not in a hurry. Duan Lingzhao glanced at the map on his phone and searched for Lin Xian's location. They were already dozens of kilometers away. Look at their location. They might want to make a move on this S-rank or SS rank force. The few of them began to research. Obviously, Lin Xian was their biggest enemy. Chapter 1334. This might be their advantage. They could see the route of whoever they paid attention to. They had the initiative and could formulate a plan. These experts were only paying attention to Lin Xian's team, Feng Ling's team, and Zhuge Feng's team. There were other strong teams as well, but as long as Lin Xian's or Duan Lingxiao's teams weren't completely wiped out, it would be difficult for them to enter the top 10 unless a miracle happened. However, It didn't mean that it was impossible. That was because this round was really going to pull their points apart. There are only 3 S-rank forces and 2 SS-rank forces over there. Moreover, they will be the first to rush over. Therefore, the 3 S-rank forces and 2 SS-rank forces over there might be taken over by their team. Qi Tianqing said faintly. The SS-rank forces have a higher void stage expert. It's very dangerous. However, since we plan to go to the SS-rank forces, Lin Xian's team won't give up. Su Jiming said. The higher void stage experts were very strong. They were around 5 or 6 stars in the heavenly venerable realm. However, it didn't mean that they couldn't fight against a higher void stage expert. How could a few top geniuses with various laws, domains, and attributes not be able to fight against a higher void stage expert? It would be fine as long as the higher void stage expert didn't have a high star level. Then, they glanced at the map. If we move forward, we will reach the monster race forces in the sea. Among the forces in the sea, the one in front is an SSS rank force. I don't think they will dare to go there. On the right side, there are more A and B rank forces. On the left side, there are more S rank and above forces. Therefore, after they defeat the 5 forces here, they will most likely go left. Chu He said. Then it's very clear. In 15 days, we don't need to go head-to-head with them for the time being. We will develop ourselves, but we also need to stop them. If we go left, there shouldn't be a third group faster than us. Moreover, we also have 2 spatial attribute martial artists, Xiao Yun and Feng Ling. Although we fell behind in the beginning, we won't be too far behind in the future. Duan Lingxiao said. Chu He and some other powerful ones didn't have spatial attribute. Chu He had time. Yes, we will go left. After they finish fighting, they will find that the forces with high points on the left side have already been defeated by us. In fact, we have even gone to other places. In this way, they can only take a longer route while we have the initiative. Qin Ming nodded and said, Good. Is the wind chime ready? They looked at Feng Ling. Feng Ling nodded. Everyone, equip yourselves and set off. So then the team of 9 rushed out. Feng Ling's team and Lin Xian's team are heading in the same direction. Looks like it's clear. Those experts said after seeing this scene. Yes, one of the 2 teams has 7 people, while the other has 9 people. It depends on which team will stand out. Either one team stands out, or the 2 teams will kill each other, and the others will benefit from it. However, I think the former is more likely, but the latter is also not small. These 2 teams will obstruct each other and go in one direction, causing the others in the other directions to be more comfortable. The 2 biggest competitors are gone. Yes, the former is more likely. However, comparing the strength of these 2 teams, it's hard to say. One team has 9 people, while the other team has 7 people. If the points are split evenly, Lin Xian's team will definitely have the advantage. However, if they want to obstruct each other, 9 people are still stronger than 7 people. They are all top-notch. With 2 more laws, 2 more domains, and a few more elemental powers, the difference is quite big. Although they have Lin Xian, Morongyu, and the others who are not weak, the other team has Feng Ling, Duan Lingxiao, Qi Tianqing, Chu He, and Feng Qinghao. They are not weak either. Interesting. But it's a pity. If it's possible, I really hope that these children can go to the God's Awakening door. However, the rules are as such. I don't know what secrets are in the God's Awakening door. It's clearly a huge improvement for humans, but why can only 10 people go every 5 years? Is it because of the high mortality rate? Lin Xian, Duan Lingxiao's team is coming in our direction. In the air, Lingying took out her phone and took a look. Then, she saw this scene. I guessed it. They can either absolutely avoid us or compete with us to the end. It seems that they have chosen the latter, Lin Xian said. The strength of the 9 of them combined is definitely not weak. Especially with Feng Ling joining them, it's a huge improvement for them. Space and creation have gained a lot of unknowns. Morongyu said. It's fine. Lin Xian glanced at his phone and said, They plan to go to our left. Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. Then what should we do? Our original plan was to go to the left after finishing the 5 on this side. The right side is full of A and B rank forces. Only by going to the left side will there be S and SS rank forces. They attacked the left side and kept going left. We will keep eating their tail gas and gradually fall into a disadvantage. Do we have to spend a long time choosing another direction? Go back again or go to the side? Ling Ying asked. The 300 forces would form a square, with the peak of the North Pole in the middle. Lin Xian and the others were going to the upper left corner of the square. Further ahead was the C, which was the SSS rank. If they went to the right, there would be B and A rank forces. If they went left, there would be S and SS rank forces along the way. Or they could go to the other two corners midway and so on. However, if they went to the other two corners, they would have to walk a long way. It was equivalent to walking from the peak of the North Pole to where they were now. About half a day, 12 hours. Then we'll go to the bottom of the sea. Lin Xian said with a smile. Ah, an SSS rank force? The girls were stunned for a moment. Although an SSS rank force was indeed their mission target, an SSS rank force was indeed too dangerous. An SS rank force would probably have 1 or 2 virtuous void stage experts. But an SSS rank force might have at least 3 virtuous void stage experts. Or even more than 10 virtuous void stage experts. Therefore, although there was an SSS rank force, it wasn't a good choice. The mortality rate was too high. Moreover, one shouldn't underestimate the powerful demonic beasts in the sea. There were many powerful demonic beasts on this continent, but the number of powerful demonic beasts in the endless deep sea wasn't any less than on the continent. This was because the sea was too big. There might even be empire-like existences of the demon race in the sea. They were extremely terrifying. However, most of them lived in the sea and didn't care about worldly affairs. This was because the sea wasn't smaller than the land. Moreover, in the deep sea, there were many demonic beasts with long lifespans and unimaginable strength. Although this place wasn't the endless deep sea, it still wouldn't be too weak. Once you're in the sea, even if you're an SS or SSS level underwater force, how can you be sure that you won't encounter a stronger force in the sea? Chapter 1335. Lin Xian and the rest quickly arrived at the nearest S-rank force. The 5 forces here should have been dealt with by them. With a glance, other than Duan Lingxiao's team rushing towards the forces on their left, no one else came here. This was because they knew that coming here was purely a suicide mission. They couldn't compete with Lin Xian and the rest, so what was the point of coming here? They might as well go to other places. I wonder what kind of clan this is. Lin Xian looked at the territory in the distance. What did it look like? The surface of this territory was made of buildings, but they were relatively simple houses. As an S-rank force, they lived in such a place. If they could build simple houses, it wouldn't be simple. After all, S-rank forces had many heavenly venerables. As for the demon clan, as long as they could reach the heavenly venerables level, they could basically transform into human form. It depended on whether they were willing to do so. It took a long time to transform into human form. During this time, they would be in danger and very weak. This was also why many heavenly venerables and even great virtual realm demon beasts still looked like demon beasts. They didn't even transform into human form. That was because they didn't choose to transform into human form. This is the Snow-Wind Leopard clan. Wu Yuhan looked at a ferocious snow-white leopard demon beast from afar and said, "It's a type of demon beast that can release cold energy. As a leopard, it's very fast. I've checked in advance. They're a demon beast clan that's more dangerous to Ice Sea City and the surrounding cities. The S-rank force's leader is a heavenly venerate, and his realm should be higher than ours. The number of heavenly venerables should be at least 10 to 20. Xiao Xinyue said. That's fine. Lin Xian even wants to go to an SSS rank force. Ling Ying rolled his eyes at Lin Xian. I say, you guys, no matter what I do, you have to scold me. Lin Xian glared at Ling Ying. This girl needs to be taught a lesson. He must find a chance to teach her a lesson. Humph. Then what's our plan of action? Morongyu asked. It's just an S-rank organization. There's no need for a plan. The 7 of us will just go ahead and fight. An S-rank organization isn't worth wasting our time on. Lin Xian cracked his neck. Alright. Then the 7 of them walked towards the Snow Gale Leopard clan. Roar! A Snow Gale Leopard outside the territory roared angrily at them. And then a terrifying blue energy surged towards them. Lin Xian stretched out his hand and easily blocked that power. Law of Destruction. Boom. In the next instant, the Blizzard Leopard was annihilated. Who is it? There was a commotion here, followed by an angry roar from inside. One figure after another flashed out. Human? The person who spoke was obviously the leader of the Snow Gale Leopards. He looked like a middle-aged man who had yet to fully transform. There were still some leopard patterns on his skin, and his eyes were the eyes of a leopard, similar to a cat's. It was quite scary. Then his gaze landed on Wang Xintong and the other 6 girls, and his eyes suddenly lit up. He couldn't help but lick his lips. What beautiful human beauties! I can't bear to kill you all. The man licked his lips and stared at them with greed. Disgusting. Just kill them. Wu Yuhan said indifferently. There was no other way. How could these men who had transformed into human form not be interested in beautiful women? Not to mention beauties of their level. The demon race was the same as the human race. It would be fine if you didn't transform into a human. But if you did, you would definitely like a woman who looked like a human. You couldn't possibly like all kinds of strange demon beasts who hadn't transformed, right? Lin Xian checked. The strongest vegetable was a 7-star heavenly venerable. It seemed that a 7-star heavenly venerable wasn't weak. This was only an S-rank organization. At least, there weren't many 7-star heavenly venerables among the 250 of them. Lin Xian then said, "Stop talking nonsense. Just kill them." Whoosh whoosh whoosh. 10 minutes later, they slaughtered this place and moved on to the next S-rank organization. In a short span of 2 hours, they had already destroyed 3 S-rank organizations. On the other side, Duan Lingxiao and the rest had just destroyed an S-rank organization. They've already destroyed 3. They glanced at their phones. The map showed that they had already destroyed 3 organizations. There are still 15 days left. Don't be anxious. Let's maintain our best condition. Don't let anyone get hurt. That's the most important thing. Duan Lingxiao said. Yes. Once someone is seriously injured, it will directly implicate the entire group. We'd rather be a little slower to ensure everyone's safety. Lin Xian and the rest are in such a hurry. I want to see how they're going to leave after destroying the 5 organizations here. On the other side, Lin Xian and the rest arrived near the first S-rank organization. It should be around here, right? Why don't I see it? Wang Xintong looked around. It's true. I don't see it. Xiao Xinyue looked at the map and said, it's around here. As an SS rank organization, they already have great void stage cultivators. There might even be more than one. Their territory definitely won't be too bad. Lin Xian said, let's look around. These are all investigated by human powerhouses. There shouldn't be any mistakes. Then Lin Xian opened his eye of cave spirit and probed. This is, Han Chuxue discovered something. Then she probed in the snow and pulled out a human skull. Then she hurriedly threw it out. Lin Xian glanced and said, there's an entrance on the slope in front. Then they walked over. This assessment was actually equivalent to an opportunity for them to grind their levels. Under normal circumstances, each of them would have to increase their levels by at least 1 star. No, at least 2 stars. This was because they were going to face a bunch of domain stage cultivators, heavenly venerables, and even great void stage cultivators. They arrived at the slope. This was a huge underground palace. There were 2 demonic beasts lying at the entrance of this underground palace. As the leader of a great void stage organization, you couldn't look at this place as an ordinary place to grind monsters. This was definitely an orderly organization. Law of Destruction. Lin Xian stood there and silently released the Law of Destruction. Then he instantly killed the 2 demonic beasts. They didn't even make a sound. They died silently just like that. This was also why the Law of Destruction was so powerful. Wind-chasing tiger. Morongyu frowned slightly. This place is actually the home of the wind-chasing tiger clan. This wind-chasing tiger is much stronger than that snow wind leopard. But we still have to go in. Let's go. Following which, they entered the underground palace. Chapter 1336. In the underground palace, there were ice crystals everywhere. To be honest, it was quite beautiful. One had to be wary of the wind-chasing tiger. Firstly, tigers were relatively strong creatures. Any demon that was related to tigers would be relatively strong in the same realm and bloodline. The wind-chasing tiger's bloodline was relatively strong. Otherwise, it would not have been able to reach the great virtual realm. Most importantly, the wind-chasing tiger's speed was extremely fast. Speed was the only thing that could not be defeated in the world of martial arts. This sentence made sense. The Yao clan rarely had the ability to control space and time. To Lin Xian and the others, the greatest threat wasn't the so-called most destructive lightning or ice, but the power of wind or darkness. The wind-chasing tiger clan probably had this kind of power. It was not that they could not defeat them, but they had to be extra vigilant and extra careful. At this moment, in the depths of the underground palace, there was a very beautiful place. There were tables and chairs with all kinds of meat and fruits on the tables and chairs. All kinds of fish. There were even some internal organs. It was unknown if they were animal organs or human organs. In this large space, there were about 40 to 50 wind-chasing tigers who had already taken human form. At this moment, a middle-aged man was hugging two pretty girls from the wind-seeking tiger clan in his arms. They were drinking to their heart's content. "Big brother, today is your birthday. This is a gift I specially prepared for you." A slightly younger man offered a heart with both hands. "Oh, this is the heart of a human heavenly venerable. It's a great tonic. A few days ago, I specially left for the human race's Ice Snow City. Then I targeted a heavenly venerable, assassinated him, and took his heart." The wind-chasing tiger elder brother laughed. "Second brother, you're too kind. The fact that my wind-seeking tiger clan was able to reach such heights under Big Brother's leadership, and even advance to the great virtual stage with Big Brother's help, compared to what Big Brother has done, what I've done is nothing but insignificant. Ha ha ha, reward. She'll reward you." Then, the wind-chasing tiger elder brother pushed the girl in his arms to his second brother. "Thank you, Big Brother. Big Brother, when are we going to attack Ice Snow City?" Someone asked. "It's too difficult. Although most of the people in Ice Snow City are trash, they have a large population and many experts. It's only possible if I can reach the heavenly Tao realm one day. If not, it's absolutely impossible. It would be great if Lord Demon God could launch an attack. To be honest, the human race's territory is really prosperous. It's much better than our place. It's hard to even find food in our place." Big Brother Hui thought for a while and said, "This is the Monster God Temple's business. If the Monster God Temple doesn't give the order, it's impossible for us to do anything. But Big Brother, it seems that humans have been coming to the North Pole recently. What's the matter?" Huer asked. "I'm not sure. It seems to be some young humans. If they dare to come here and I run into them, I'll kill them." Hui sneered. "Big Brother is mighty. A toast to Big Brother." Immediately, a group of people began to lick it. Oh no, oh no. At this moment, a person ran in from outside. "Why are you so flustered?" Hui frowned, and his face was full of displeasure. Today was his birthday, and he was still so flustered. Wasn't that a slap to his face? "Big Brother, there are humans outside who have broken in. They have already killed many of our brothers." That person pointed outside and shouted. "What?" Everyone stood up one after another. "What? Humans? What realm are they in?" They seem to be celestial venerables." Hui and Huer both heaved a sigh of relief. "Celestial venerables? Celestial venerables dare to come here?" They heaved a sigh of relief, and then revealed a surprised expression. They had higher void here. Why did a few celestial venerables dare to come here? In the beginning, they were shocked. Damn. Someone actually dared to come here? What kind of powerhouse could it be? Then, celestial venerables? Bang! At this moment, a few figures flew in and crashed into the wall of this space. Then they vomited blood and died. Where are the strong ones? Why aren't there any strong ones? A voice sounded, and then Lin Xian's group of 7 walked in. The moment Ling Ying's group of 6 came in, Hu Yi Hu Er, and the others' eyes lit up. Strong ones? The strong ones you want are here. Hu Er's aura erupted. Second brother, don't hurt these women, Hu Yi hurriedly said. Understood, big brother. Hu Er's eyes also lit up when he saw these girls. There was no other way. This was a man. I say, you men are really disgusting. Ling Ying rolled her eyes at Lin Xian. Hey, the scope of your attacks is too wide, Lin Xian said helplessly. Humph. Hu Yi, Hu Er, and the rest of the powerhouses here were stunned. They still had the mood to chat? Attack. Xintong. Roger. Then, Wang Xintong released her domain and raised their realm. Lin Xian probed for a bit. Hu Yi was at level 2 Great Void stage, and Hu Er was at level 1 Great Void stage. And not much use. Realm reduction domain. Lin Xian then released his domain. In the next instant, the 2 Great Void stage powerhouses became Heavenly Venerable Realm. Under the enhancement of Wang Xintong's domain, Lin Xian's realm was raised to 9 stars Heavenly Venerable Realm. That's right, Wang Xintong could raise their realm by 3 stars, but Lin Xian suppressed it by 3 stars. In an instant, the gap of 6 stars was closed. Law of Destruction. Lin Xian released his power. Law of Destruction. At the same time, Murongyu released her power. Murongyu released it on the weak ones around her, while Lin Xian released it on the 2 Great Void stage powerhouses. Puff! In an instant, the 2's Law of Destruction became invincible. The people in the entire space were either dead or seriously injured. Hu Yi and Hu Er were dumbfounded. They fell to the ground and vomited blood. I'll leave it to you guys. Lin Xian's face was slightly pale. He had used up a lot of his spiritual power. Okay. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Then they rushed forward. An SS rank force is only SOSO. Let's go and finish off the other one. Then we'll go to the SSS rank force. Lin Xian stood up. Are we really going? This SSS rank force might even have Great Void stage 5 stars and above. Your Law of Destruction and domain should be effective against Great Void stage 5 stars and above. Ling Ying said worriedly. Lin Xian said, we haven't unleashed our true strength since the start of the battle. We haven't even made a move yet. I feel that an SSS rank organization is not only good for us, it's also an opportunity to train us. Isn't that right? Moreover, we have teleportation crystals and space attributes. They definitely don't have space. If we can't beat them, we can just run. Alright then. Let's go. Chapter 1337. It didn't take long for them to finish off another SS rank force. How can Lin Xian and the others be so fast? Duan Ling Xiao and the others had just finished off the 3rd force. Then, they looked again and saw that the 5 forces on Lin Xian's side had already been finished off. Previously, they had only been left behind by 1 force. After the battle, they were left behind by 2 forces? Previously, it could be explained that they were left behind by 1 force. However, in this battle, they had already finished off 5 forces, and there were even 2 SS rank forces. Instead, they were left behind by 1 more force? There was no other way. Lin Xian Murongyu and Wang Xintong's combined strength was too brainless. The virtuous stage seemed very powerful. Then Wang Xintong's domain increased while Lin Xian's domain decreased. They directly broke the law and started fighting. It was too brainless. Unless the virtuous stage's star level was relatively high, otherwise, they really wouldn't be able to withstand a beating. It's too fast. However, by the time they rush over to our side, we have already taken down this place. They will have to waste a lot of time again. We can still be on par with them. Duan Ling Xiao said. Wait, look at their route. Suddenly, Xiao Yin frowned. Then they looked at the route Lin Xian and the others were taking. Because Lin Xian had directly released a space attribute, a space jump of tens of kilometers, causing their position to change very obviously on the phone's map. They originally thought that after Lin Xian and the others had finished off the 5 forces here, the best choice left for them was to go left. If they didn't want to compete with them, they could choose to return to the other direction. However, no matter what, it would waste a lot of time for Lin Xian and the others. However, the direction they are going is the sea? Seeing this scene, Feng Ling and the others were shocked. In this direction, there are only 2 SSS rank forces in this region of the sea. They are going to the SSS rank forces? Although an SSS rank organization was one of their mission objectives, under normal circumstances, only their team and Lin Xian's team had the qualifications to challenge an SSS rank organization. However, under normal circumstances, they wouldn't choose to challenge an SSS rank organization. Even if you had the spatial attribute and could run, you would still lose your life if you weren't careful. There was a high chance that you would be putting yourself in danger. Even if you managed to escape, you would be wasting a lot of time and energy. Therefore, Wenqim and the others would never choose an SSS rank faction. However, when they saw Lin Xian's choice, they went straight to an SSS rank faction. Wasn't this F*King scary? They actually chose to join an SSS rank organization. This was something they hadn't expected. Isn't this too crazy? An SSS rank force would have at least 5 great ethereal stage martial artists, and there would definitely be at least 1 great ethereal stage 5-star martial artist. How are they going to fight? They're not even on the same level as SS. They're just throwing their lives away. Even though that was what they said, they were still panicking. What if they were to defeat an SSS rank force? If they were defeated, they would be finished. A difference of 200,000 points. If they were to defeat an SSS rank force, they wouldn't be able to make up for the difference by fighting S and SS rank forces normally. This was forcing them to attack an SSS rank force. On the other side, those experts also saw Lin Xian and the others' actions. They're going to join an SSS rank force at the bottom of the sea? Mu Rongfeng and the others frowned. This group of children is really crazy. It's very dangerous, but they shouldn't be impulsive children. Since they're going, they must be confident. They didn't even spend a day to deal with those 5 forces. This is enough to prove their strength. However, an SSS rank force, and an SSS rank force at that, would be a bit difficult. Why was it so difficult to join an SSS rank force at the bottom of the sea? Even if they had taken pills and were walking on water, as if it was flat ground, the resistance of the water was the biggest problem in a battle at the bottom of the sea. One must know that those existences at the bottom of the sea had already adapted to it, but it was difficult for them to adapt. With this little bit of resistance, their every step and every attack was different from when they were on the ground. Even the calculation of damage was different. Therefore, the risk factor was very high. However, since we've opened the SSS rank force to the public, aren't we waiting for these children to bring us a surprise? Perhaps they can really bring us a surprise. Lin Xian and the others had already arrived at the seaside. It's getting dark. Should we wait for dawn or? Xiao Xingyue asked. Let's wait for dusk. Anyway, we're at the bottom of the sea. Dawn and dusk are the same, Lin Xian said. Let's rest for 2 hours and recover. What awaits us is no less dangerous than the few virtuous stage experts we encountered in Tianhua City, Mu Rongyu said. Actually, it's indeed dangerous, but there's one good news. It was very dangerous at that time because there was a virtuous stage expert with spatial attribute. At the bottom of the sea, at least we received news that the demon race doesn't have time and space, the 2 most dangerous attributes. For us, it's better to be careful, Lin Xian said. That's true. Also, be careful of the dark attribute power. It might exist. The rest should basically be water attribute power. After all, they live at the bottom of the sea and most of them are water attribute. Our lightning is more effective against water, especially in water. The effect will be even greater. Lin Xian nodded. That's right. Water is conductive. Even our lightning attribute power, which has a very small range, can be expanded by more than 10 times under the sea. This is also good news, but similarly the other party might also have lightning. Little Yu, you're in charge of protecting them. Mu Rongyu nodded. Okay. They had to have someone in charge of protecting them when facing an SSS rank force. It was too dangerous. And the attribute that was best protected was definitely time or space. The protection of these two powers was the most direct. I still have little Yuhan. Little Yingying will be in charge of attacking, little Xintong will protect, and little Xinyue and little Chuxue will control. Okay. They nodded. Then the 7 of them sat there and rested. Han Chuxue turned on her phone and took a look. We're attacking an SSS rank force. Feng Ling's team will probably attack as well. Their team isn't weak either. They're not much weaker than us when facing an SSS rank force. However, only when we take down an SSS rank force will they be able to attack. Lin Xian. Time slowly passed, and the 7 of them gradually recovered to their peak state. I'm still a bit away from leveling up, Morongyu said. And if there's a chance, let little Yu level up first. This way, our strength will increase again. Let's go, let's hurry. So. The distance between the 2 SSS rank forces in front of them wasn't far. It was about a few dozen kilometers. The closest one was about 100 kilometers away from the coast. Lin Xian directly released a space attribute to shorten the distance by a few dozen kilometers. Then they used the aircraft to fly. At the same time, Lin Xian replenished his spiritual energy. Chapter 1338. Soon, they arrived at their destination. They were all celestial venerables and could walk in the air at a faster speed. However, the reason why they had to use aircraft was because walking in the air consumed spiritual power. They needed to be in peak condition for the upcoming battle, so they would rather be slower. It didn't matter. This should be the place, right? They looked at their phones and then landed on the sea. It should be around here. Will our clothes get wet if we go into the water? Wang Xintong shrunk her head. Their clothes would be wet in the water and stick to their bodies. Not only would it be a little revealing, but it would also affect their combat ability. It can't be. This pill seems to be able to condense an aura outside our bodies to isolate us from the water, Lin Xian said. Then they took the pill. Let's go. Splash. Then the 7 of them dived into the water. What made Lin Xian feel that it was quite amazing was that after consuming this pill, they could really breathe in the water. It was as if there was an additional aura around each of their bodies, isolating them from the water. It was a strange feeling. They were clearly in the water, but they did not know how to breathe. Other than some water pressure and resistance, there was nothing else. Even their clothes were not wet, and their phones were fine. They landed at the bottom of the sea a few thousand meters deep. They looked around. It's so beautiful. Wang Xintong could not help but exclaim. It's really beautiful. They looked around with shining eyes. They, including Lin Xian, rarely came into contact with the sea. It was everyone's first time coming to the bottom of the sea. In the past, they only saw how beautiful the sea was on TV. But now it was really beautiful. All kinds of colorful sea creatures were swimming around. The colorful coral reefs decorated the seabed beautifully. They did not know where the light came from, but it seemed to be emitted by some reefs. Perhaps it was deliberately made. Anyway, it was shining. Wow. It's so big. It's so big. Ling Ying pointed at a whale in the distance and exclaimed. That should be a whale. It shouldn't be a monster, right? I don't think so. It's so magical. For a moment, they seemed to have forgotten what they were here for. There would always be some fishes circling around them. He was an old pervert. Every girl had some fishes circling around them, but Lin Xian had no fishes around him. It's kissing me. Wang Xintong stretched out her hand. A fish was kissing her hand. Lin Xian. F***CK. I say, ladies, we're here for serious business. Lin Xian said. Yes. Then the girls came back to their senses and looked around. Over there. Their gazes landed on a location far away. There seemed to be a building there. That's right, it wasn't a reef, but a building. Maybe. Let's take a look. Then, the few of them quietly moved closer to him. It's so big. They then stared at the palace in shock. That's right, it was a palace at the bottom of the sea. Thinking about it, it was normal. There were so many great virtual realm cultivators, maybe even dozens of heavenly venerables, and countless existences below the heavenly venerables. Wasn't it normal for there to be a majestic palace in a place where they had lived for many years? They seemed to be fighting. Everyone hid behind the coral reef and looked at the huge palace. In front of the palace, they could see that there were two groups of people. Half of them were in human form, and the other half were demons. One of them was a cyan-colored flood dragon. The bigger ones were tens of meters long, while the smaller ones were over 10 meters long. This was the force in front of the main hall. On the other side, the demons at the back were ocean blue flood dragons. That's right, not a dragon, just a flood dragon. The difference between a flood dragon and a dragon was too big. One side is a green blood flood dragon, and the other blue one should be a blue lightning flood dragon. Murongyu was extremely knowledgeable. They seem to be fighting. The two strongest factions in this area should be the two SSS rank factions we're going to, right? For them to fight, it means that their factions are close. Could it be the two SSS rank factions we're going to are fighting each other? Lin Xian's eyes suddenly lit up. Seems like it. Wang Xintong opened her mouth. Damn. That's good. Let them fight. Let's be the fisherman who benefits when the sandpiper and clam fight. That's good. Lin Xian revealed a smirk. They were also secretly shocked. Damn. Wasn't their luck too good? That's right. Their luck was really good. So let's watch slowly. Your blue lightning flood dragon clan is really ambitious. You actually want to swallow my green blood flood dragon. An old man angrily pointed at the people in front of him. When things compete, the winner is king, and the weak are eliminated. Your green blood flood dragon clan is declining, so it's normal for my blue lightning flood dragon to destroy you. On the other side, a man with lightning wrapped around his hand looked at them with a cold smile. The reason why they were able to fight the green blood flood dragon was very simple. In this huge area, there were only the kings of the two clans. Whoever destroyed them would dominate this area. Not long ago, the strongest member of the green blood flood dragon clan was on the way to the North Sea Sky region, and was swallowed by a powerful demon beast. Now that the strongest member of the green blood flood dragon clan was gone, how could they not attack? Then let's give it a try. Fight. Then Lin Xian and the others hid there and watched the shocking battle. These two clans should have sent out their strongest fighters, right? There are about 6 or 7 great virtual realm cultivators, more than 50 heavenly venerables, and more than 300 meters of domain. They're really not weak. Lin Xian was secretly speechless. Moreover, one side has lightning, and the other side has darkness. If we fight normally, it'll be quite difficult, Ling Ying said. Who's to blame? It's their fault for fighting, right? Wow, so strong. These two great virtual realm cultivators are probably great virtual realm 7 stars, right? Lin Xian opened his mouth. They were even stronger than he had expected. Terrifying shockwaves hit the water, and all the creatures in the surroundings fled. Lin Xian and the others watched the show from behind. Time slowly passed, and the experts of the two clans died one after another, and it was obvious that the cyan blood evil flood dragon died faster. When would the green blood flood dragon be completely destroyed? It was when the great virtual realm 7 stars was destroyed. When the great virtual realm 7 stars was destroyed, it proved that the green blood flood dragon was gone. Plop! The green blood flood dragon transformed into its original form, and then its body was penetrated by a sword. It fell to the ground, bleeding. Damn. We can't waste our experience. Let's do it? Okay. Little Yu, I'll leave that to you. Then, Morongyu released the law of destruction, and the green blood flood dragon died before it could say anything. Morongyu advanced. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. They rushed over. Who's there? Chapter 1339. The sudden arrival of these people stunned them for a moment. The blue lightning flood dragons didn't know how the strongest expert of the cyan blood evil flood dragon clan died. They originally wanted to trample on him, so how did he die? Whoosh whoosh whoosh. Lin Xian's group of 7 landed in the middle of them. We are friends of the blue blood flood dragons, Lin Xian said. Ling Ying and the others were stunned for a moment. They thought that they would attack directly, but now? Lin Xian's words stunned them for a moment. Then they understood. If they joined as a third party, they might suffer the joint attack of the Blue Lightning Flood Dragons and the Blue Blood Flood Dragons. But now Lin Xian cleverly said that they were helpers of the Blue Blood Flood Dragons. In this case, they could join forces with the Blue Blood Flood Dragons to destroy the Blue Lightning Flood Dragons or greatly damage their morale. Wouldn't that be perfect? Why didn't they choose to stand on the side of the Blue Lightning Flood Dragons who already had the advantage? It was very simple. The Blue Lightning Flood Dragons already had the advantage. If they stood on their side, then the Blue Blood Flood Dragons would be easily destroyed, and the Blue Lightning Flood Dragons would lose very little. At that time, they might have to deal with an SSS rank force with the Blue Lightning Flood Dragons at their peak. But if they joined the Blue Blood Flood Dragons, although they were at a disadvantage, with their support, they could make up for the gap between the two clans even if they didn't go all out. In this way, the Blue Blood Flood Dragons would be weakened, and the Blue Lightning Flood Dragons would also be weakened. Wouldn't that be perfect? The Blue Blood Flood Dragons were stunned for a moment. Their helpers? How come they didn't know that they had helpers? But who cares? They said they were helpers, so they were helping them now. Who cared if they had other aspects? If they didn't have helpers, then the Blue Blood Flood Dragons would die. Wasn't it a good thing to have helpers? Thank you, everyone. Another 6 stars of the Great Void Stage looked at Lin Xian and the others and said gratefully, "You're welcome, you're welcome." Lin Xian's lips curled up slightly as he looked at the Blue Lightning Flood Dragons in front of him. TSK, a few heavenly venerables dare to come here to die? The 7 Great Void Stage Patriarch of the Blue Lightning Flood Dragons sneered, and looked at Lin Xian and the others. Only an Empyrean? The Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragon, and the others looked at Lin Xian's group. What was the use of 7 Empyreans? However, it was a good thing that someone was willing to help. Really? Is the Empyrean realm useless? Lin Xian smirked. Xian Tong. Got it. Then, Wang Xintong released her domain. Law of Destruction. Lin Xian and Morongyu released their spells at the same time. Then, over a dozen Empyreans in the Blue Lightning Flood Dragon instantly died. Everyone's pupils suddenly shrank. What kind of power was this? The eyes of the Cyan Blood Evil Flood Dragon clan widened. This looks very powerful. All clansmen heed my command. Counterattack. Yes. Blue Lightning Flood Dragon clan, kill them. Let's kill those 7 people first. Yes. A great battle was about to break out. Lin Xian's group of 7 maintained their formation and cooperated with each other, causing quite a bit of trouble for the Blue Lightning Flood Dragon clan. You guys go and stop the 6 stars of the Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragon. Leave these humans to me. The 7 stars of the Great Void Stage Blue Lightning Flood Dragon charged toward Lin Xian and the others. Truth be told, Lin Xian and the others would have a hard time fighting a 7 stars Great Void Stage cultivator. It was not impossible, but there was clearly a 6 stars Great Void Stage cultivator beside them. Why did they have to fight a 7 stars Great Void Stage cultivator? Leave the 6 stars of the Great Void Stage to us. You go and fight a 7 stars of the Great Void Stage. Lin Xian shouted to the Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragon powerhouse. Okay. If 7 Empyreans could stop a 6 stars of the Great Void Stage, it would be very useful. Then, they would exchange opponents. Realm Reduction Domain. Following that, Lin Xian directly released his domain on the 6 stars of the Great Void Stage powerhouse. His realm was known to 3 stars of the Great Void Stage. As for Lin Xian, under the amplification of Wang Xintong, he was a 9 stars of the Empyrean realm. The gap between them wasn't big, but it wasn't small either. However, they could still fight. That was because everyone had been buffed. Begin. Whoosh, time slowly passed and more people from both sides died. Although Lin Xian and the others helped, the Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragon clan was still losing. That was because Lin Xian and the others didn't use their full strength at all. Lin Xian and the others' goal was to narrow the gap between the two sides. Only then would the Blue Lightning Flood Dragon be unable to crush the Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragon. In this way, both sides would be able to exhaust the other side's strength to the greatest extent. When the time came, Lin Xian and the others would have to spend less effort and reduce the difficulty. On the other hand, the The 6 stars of the Great Void Stage that Lin Xian and the others were facing didn't kill him. If they wanted to kill him, they would have done so long ago. However, Lin Xian and the others didn't need to. The 7 of them used Lin Xian and Morong Yu's space to stall for time. To the Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragon clan, they were extremely satisfied that these people who appeared out of nowhere could stall a powerful 6 stars of the Great Void Stage for them. They even dared to say that if no one could stall the 6 stars of the Great Void Stage, they would have already lost. Bang! In the end, the 6 stars of the Great Void Stage was finally heavily injured by the 7 stars of the Blue Lightning Flood Dragon, and fell to the ground. Lin Xian glanced at them. It seemed like both sides were almost dead. It wasn't that easy for the 7 stars of the Blue Lightning Flood Dragon to kill a 6 stars of the Great Void Stage. He probably didn't have much spiritual power left. "Arc, die for me," the Blue Lightning Flood Dragon clan leader roared. His aura surged, and lightning instantly engulfed several Great Void Stage Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragons, causing them to be severely injured and sent flying. "Attack!" Lin Xian ordered. "Roger." In the next instant, they activated their amplification domain and Lin Xian's realm reduction domain again. After that, Lin Xian created a law to amplify Morong Yu's spatial lock. Ling Ying and Wu Yuhan directly condensed the power of darkness and instantly killed the 6 stars of the Great Void Stage that they had exhausted all of their spiritual power. Meanwhile, Lin Xian directly rushed to the 6 stars of the Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragon and directly killed him. What? Following that, Lin Xian's aura soared. 7 stars of the Heavenly Venerable Realm. Those from the Blue Lightning Flood Dragon clan were dumbfounded. Those from the Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragon clan were also dumbfounded. What was going on? Weren't they here to help them? Why did they attack their own people? The corner of Lin Xian's mouth curled up slightly. Following that, he released the law of destruction. Those heavily injured Cyan Blood Demon Flood Dragons were instantly killed by Lin Xian's law of destruction. 8 stars of the Heavenly Venerable Realm. That's right. Lin Xian was already close to advancing. After killing a 6 stars of the Great Void Stage, 7 or 8 5 stars of the Great Void Stage, and a Heavenly Venerable who had just reached the Heavenly Venerable Realm, it wasn't difficult for him to advance to the 8 stars of the Heavenly Venerable Realm. Realm reduction, 10,000 lightning heavenly prison. Strength doubled. Amplification of the law of creation. Boom. 8 stars of the Heavenly Venerable Realm. With Wang Xintong's 3 stars amplification, Lin Xian's cultivation was close to the Great Void Stage. Of course, Wang Xintong's strength didn't increase by 3 stars, but Lin Xian's strength doubled. That was definitely the Great Void Stage. Chapter 1340. The Blue Lightning Flood Dragon Patriarch was at the 7 stars of the Great Void Stage. He was only at the 4 stars of the Great Void Stage. Lin Xian had the cultivation of the Great Void Stage. With the enhancement of a divine rank martial skill, wasn't it easy to severely injure a 4 stars of the Great Void Stage? The Blue Lightning Flood Dragon Patriarch's pupils suddenly constricted. However, he couldn't dodge at all. This was in the water. He couldn't make it in time. Puff! The terrifying thunder and lightning sent him, along with many of the surrounding Blue Lightning Flood Dragons, flying. Those with lower realms were instantly killed, and those with higher realms were directly injured. Law of destruction. Bang! In the next moment, the heart of the Tier 7 expert exploded. Instant kill. This was the opportunity Lin Xian had been waiting for. Run! Run! When the remaining Blue Lightning Flood Dragons saw their patriarch die so inexplicably, they scattered and fled. The Cyan Blood Flood Dragon behind them stared at Lin Xian and the others in shock. Let's deal with this place first. Oi! 3 hours later, the 7 of them lay on an island on the sea to rest. They were exhausted. They were really exhausted. If these 2 forces hadn't just started fighting, it would have been very tiring for us to fight. Xiao Xinyue said. It's okay. It's mainly because we've been releasing our spirit energy to act. Lin Xian. That's true, but it's really difficult. Even if that Tier 7 Great Void Stage expert wasn't in his peak state, and you found an opportunity to instantly kill him, The remaining ones were also very difficult for us to fight. Lin Xian nodded. After all, a few heavenly venerables fighting a few great void stage experts was really not bragging. It was very, very difficult. However, these were not the top great void stage experts, so they could fight. I'll go mark the map. Lin Xian sat up and marked the information of destroying these 2 SSS rank forces. When this information was marked, the others were stunned when they saw the map. What? They destroyed the 2 SSS rank forces here? Duan Lingxiao and the others took a look and were almost scared to death. They're all destroyed? They came over to take a look. Could it be fake? Impossible unless they want to be eliminated. Duan Lingxiao frowned. 2 SSS rank organizations, that's 400,000 points. 400,000 points. Ka. They clenched their fists tightly. Go. Let's go to an SSS rank organization as well. Feng Ling said decisively. Are you really going? Of course. Otherwise, how could he catch up with 400,000 points? If they can fight, why can't we? Good. Let's go. Go directly to an SSS rank organization. Otherwise, the 7 of them will directly pass this round and obtain the qualifications to enter the God's Awakening door. On the other side, the experts were also shocked when they saw the news. When they saw Lin Xian and the others heading towards the SSS rank faction, they were quite surprised. Then they marked the SSS rank faction and destroyed both of them? What the F***CK? They definitely wouldn't think that this was fake news, because fake news would be disqualified. Master. Far away in the heavenly palace of the Northern Sea region, a woman knelt respectfully before another woman. This place was the second demon god temple of the demon god temple. This was an island in the sky far away in the Northern Sea region, which was also the sea region. This island was too big and too bright. Sometimes it felt like the sun rising from the north. Although the first demon god temple and the 10th demon god temple weren't ranked in terms of strength, the second demon god temple was indeed a very strong demon god temple. Among the 10 demon god temples, it should be ranked in the top 3. Earbook's demon god temple couldn't be compared to the second demon god temple. Of course, in terms of demon god strength, Earbook wasn't much weaker. After all, she was a dragon. And she was a legitimate dragon. However, the demon god of the second demon god temple also had a bloodline that wasn't inferior to dragons. Dark Phoenix. The Phoenix was a bloodline that was on par with dragons, and the Dark Phoenix was also a type of phoenix, just like how the Night Shadow Dragon was a type of dragon. It was the same principle, just that the phoenix had fewer branches. The second demon god temple was isolated from the rest of the world, and had been slowly developing. Moreover, it didn't attack the human race. Therefore, after so many years, the second demon god temple's power was unimaginable. It had been developing without any consumption, so it was definitely unimaginable. Speak. On the fiery red throne, a woman in a white and pink dress sat with her legs crossed. Her elbows rested on the edge of the throne, and she rested her chin on her hand. In terms of temperament, she was definitely an explosive beauty. In terms of appearance, she was comparable to Yi Runbing and Linglong Shui. In terms of figure, she was indescribably beautiful. Great. Another top-grade beauty. Especially her legs, with boots, they were simply invincible. As for her eyes when they were open, they were a normal color, but occasionally, her pupils would turn fiery red. The human race is wantonly killing several hundred of our demon race's forces in the North Pole. We just received news that the Cyan Blood Flood Dragon and Blue Lightning Flood Dragon in the sea have been exterminated. Oh, her lips didn't move, but her ethereal voice was heard. Are the human race so impudent now? No, they're holding the human race's Sky Martial Assembly. This is a test. Puffed, she sneered. Using the demon race's various clans as a test? The human race is really something. Also, the Myriad Demon Alliance's third elder sent a message, indicating that Master must do something. The woman slowly stood up. Do I need them to tell me what to do? Her tone was completely aloof, as if she despised the world. It was even more disdainful than Yi Runbing. Then Master means. The woman waved her hand, and a mirror image appeared in front of her. The image showed two groups of people, Lin Xian's group and Duan Lingxiao's group. One side was wantonly slaughtering, while the other side was sitting there roasting meat and eating seafood. When her gaze fell on Lin Xian's face, her pupils suddenly shrank. Her calm expression revealed her emotions. He is. Her beautiful eyes looked at Lin Xian, who was surrounded by beauties. Lin Xian, the main culprit who obstructed the demon god temple's operations many times. Even the 10th demon god Rinbing of the demon god temple turned to the human race because of him, and began to oppose the myriad demon alliance. The woman's beautiful eyes were fixed on him, her pupils flashing violently. Her emotions seemed to be a bit unstable. Master? The woman came back to her senses. What about the people next to him? They seem to be his women. Kill them all for this sovereign. The woman said indifferently, then sat back down. What about Lin Xian? Bring him back. Yes. Wait. She held the woman in her mouth. Master, what are your orders? Don't kill them. Destroy their faces. This subordinate understands. Chapter 1341. Lin Xian and the 6 girls were lying on the beach, resting and chatting. Let's rest here for a day, Lin Xian said. Are you sure? Lin Xian smiled and said, we killed 2 SSS rank factions. Isn't that enough for us to rest for a day? Feng Ling's team also went to the SSS rank faction. Morongyu glanced at her phone and said, if they want to go, let them be. Do you think they can be faster than us? Don't be careless and lose. I won't. Lin Xian shrugged. Then you can't go to the next place without recovering your spiritual power, right? Moreover, after dealing with these 2 SSS rank factions, we can go to the SSS rank factions. There won't be so much pressure, Lin Xian said. And that's true. We have to see the situation of the other team. In any case, we're definitely far ahead. We've already made up for Xintong's points, Xiao Xinyue said. I'm sorry for dragging everyone down. Wang Xintong stuck out her tongue. What are you talking about? We're a team. If it weren't for your powerful domain, we wouldn't have the capital to attack the SSS rank factions, Linging said. Yes. You're an indispensable member of our team. Lin Xian pinched Wang Xintong's pink cheeks, causing her to blush. Hey, the lobster is cooked. Lin Xian, give me some vinegar, Linging suddenly said. Lin Xian stretched out his hand, and a bowl of vinegar appeared. Then they surrounded the lobster and ate happily. Logically speaking, they might be under great pressure, but they were eating seafood so comfortably. There was no one else like them. Time slowly passed. They lay there and waited for dawn. Lin Xian, what kind of world do you think the God's awakening door will be? Linging lay beside Lin Xian and looked up at the stars. How would I know? It definitely won't be simple, Wu Yuhan said indifferently. I'm just letting you imagine. Let's use your intelligence. Since we're bored, let's brag, right? Linging said with a smile. Lin Xian looked up at the stars. I think that since this world hid the God's awakening door so well, it must be a world that will shock everyone. Combined with our previous challenges, the lightning resistance test and strength test, it might be related to the God's awakening door. Who knows? There might have a lot of heavenly punishment lightning there. And we might even have to withstand it. That makes sense. It might be a small world, Morongyu said. It must be a small world. This small world might even have some sort of laws and rules. These rules are definitely different from the world we are in right now. Since there are so many opportunities and spiritual items there, it proves that there must be life there. Chen Feng was shocked. Han Chushue said. But I heard that the world in the God's awakening door might even allow people to obtain new attributes, or even laws, or even domains. Laws and domains might be explainable. It's also possible for you to comprehend a twin laws. But attributes? Why would you obtain new attributes? It's even possible for time and space. This doesn't make sense, Wang Xintong said softly. That's true. Attributes are innate, and can only increase the purity. It's impossible to obtain new attributes. Even if you have the lightning attribute and absorb a large amount of fire attribute spiritual items, it can only increase your realm. You won't be able to obtain the ability to release fire. Other than poison, no one can obtain new attributes. Xiao Xingyue nodded. Lin Xian was able to obtain attributes because of the system. But it was impossible for everyone who entered the God's Awakening door to have a heaven-defying system like him. Right? That was impossible. That was true. How could one obtain new attributes? There must be something inside that will give people a huge shock. I'm looking forward to it, Wu Yuhan said with a slight smirk. Obviously his sister had come out. After resting for another hour, the sun had risen. Let's go. We should go to the next place. Lin Xian looked at the time. Where are we going? Lin Xian said with a smile. Go back the way we came. Damn. We have to walk so much again. Ling Ying shrunk his head. There's no other way. We're already so far ahead. It's best if we don't clash with Feng Ling's team. Moreover, it's disadvantageous for us to head north. We should choose the safest way and avoid them. This way, they won't be able to catch up with us. Lin Xian said with a smile. All right, let's go back the way we came. 3 days later, Lin Xian and the rest sat on the back of a mountain and ate delicious food. It's good to have the creation attribute. You can create whatever you want to eat. I want 2 mutton skewers. Ling Ying extended his hand to Lin Xian. Here you go. Lin Xian decisively created 2 mutton skewers for her. Needless to say, the creation attribute was really useful. Lin Xian took a look at his phone. They've defeated an SSS-ranked organization. We've defeated 2. They've defeated 5 SSS-ranked organizations. We've defeated 7. They've defeated a total of 19 SSS-ranked organizations. We've defeated 23. Now we're leading by a lot. That's right. Ever since Lin Xian and the others had defeated 2 SSS-rank factions, they had not gone looking for another SSS-rank faction. On the other hand, Wenqim and the others had only defeated an SSS-rank faction to test the waters. It wasn't that they couldn't fight SSS-ranked organizations anymore. They just needed to fight weaker ones to recuperate. Of course, they could see how big the gap was between them and Lin Xian's team. Although it didn't indicate which team defeated which organization, they were paying attention to Lin Xian's team's whereabouts. They also roughly knew how many points they were behind Lin Xian's team in this round. It wasn't that they didn't have a chance. It was only 4 days. There were still 11 days left. They couldn't be anxious. Once they were anxious, if any of the 9 of them lost their ability to fight or needed to recuperate for a period of time, it would be devastating. If they really couldn't do it, they could fight another SSS-ranked organization. That way, the gap between them would be very, very small. Feng Ling, we should go to Lin Xian's team. Duan Ling Xiao said. That's right. At this rate, the gap between us will only remain the same or even grow bigger. Unless we can stop Lin Xian's group, the possibility of us turning the tables is not high. Alternatively, we can continue to attack SSS rank organizations, but the difficulty will be even higher. Qi Tianqing said. Feng Ling looked at the gap between them. Let's go. Let's go to Lin Xian's team and clear out the other organizations along the way. Okay. Chapter 1342. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others were lying there, chatting leisurely. The cooperation of the 7 of them, how should one describe it? They were really stronger than the 9 people on Feng Ling's side. There was a deep tacit understanding between the 7 of them, and they trusted each other very much. They did not have any vigilance against anyone, nor did they need to. However, it was different for Feng Ling's side. Although they were all teammates, God knows what your teammate was thinking. What were they afraid of? They were afraid that they would deliberately kill someone during the battle. In that case, they would be able to split the points from 9 people to 8 people, or even 7 people. There was no other way. This was reality. This was where the difference between the 2 teams lay. In the battles over the past few days, Lin Xian was an 8-star Heavenly Venerable. The others were at least 6-star Heavenly Venerable. Only Wang Xintong was a 6-star Heavenly Venerable. As for the others, Wu Yuhan and Han Chuxue were 8-star Heavenly Venerable. The others were 7-star Heavenly Venerable. They had all improved. Otherwise, Morongyu's cultivation should have been the highest. However, because she hadn't cultivated with Lin Xian for half a year in the Divine Realm, her cultivation had fallen behind. However, because she had been desperately trying to improve herself during this period, she was now a 7 stars Heavenly Venerate. That wasn't low. As for Lin Xian, his luck was better. He had a cheat, so he improved faster than Morongyu. I'm almost at the 8-star Heavenly Venerable realm. Maybe after 15 days of this assessment, I can advance to the Great Void Realm. Linging said excitedly. Don't think about it. The 10-star Heavenly Venerable Realm and the Great Void Realm have too much experience. It's probably not something that can be improved during this assessment. Lin Xian poured cold water on her. I don't need you to say that. I'm just looking forward to it, can't I? Linging rolled her eyes. Really, time passed so quickly. When she met Lin Xian, he was still at the Mystic Heaven Realm. At that time, Lin Xian was even weaker. What about now? In such a short period of time, each of them had almost reached the Absolute Void stage. Lin Xian had also become more powerful than them. Unless we keep fighting SSS rank forces and kill more Great Void stage cultivators, the possibility is not high. Han Chuxue said indifferently. Patter, Lin Xian lit a cigarette. Smoking. You're still smoking. Linging rolled his eyes at Lin Xian. In the past, this guy didn't smoke at all. When did he start smoking? Although the frequency wasn't high, he didn't like men who smoked. Don't you think I look cool when I smoke? Tui. They rolled their eyes. Little Shintong, go ahead. Smoking is bad for your health. Lin Xian. I'm already a celestial venerable. Why would it harm my health? At this moment, Lin Xian and the others' eyes suddenly narrowed. Then they all stood up subconsciously and stared into the distance. They didn't see anyone, but they felt that something was wrong. Moreover, they all sensed the aura that was revealed in that instant. Swish, swish, swish. Everyone took out their own spirit artifacts and stood there, back to back, looking in all directions. Their tacit understanding was very deep. In the next instant, a force enveloped them. Lin Xian and Morongyu had spatial attributes, so they could instantly sense that this was a spatial attribute spatial seal. Moreover, this realm was at least 6 stars of the Great Void stage. A 6-star Great Void stage enemy attacked them? Who was it? Really, Lin Xian couldn't think of who would attack them. The Evil Fiend Hall? They were all members of the Evil Fiend Hall now. How could it be the Evil Fiend Hall? Demons? It couldn't be, right? He provoked the demons in Tianhua City and Linen City. The demons here were also arranged? Who are you? Lin Xian's eyes narrowed as he asked. Really, to him, he wasn't afraid of the opponent's realm being high. He was only afraid of the opponent's spatial and temporal attributes. If he encountered an opponent with these 2 attributes, no matter how high his realm was, he wouldn't be able to defeat him. It would be difficult for him to die. Perhaps he couldn't sense it because he was spatial or temporal, but when his opponent was of these 2 attributes, he would understand how terrifying these 2 attributes were. Then a figure suddenly appeared in front of them. It was a woman, and she was wearing a veil. Lin Xian subconsciously used his Eye of Cave Spirit to investigate. Indeed, according to the degree of spatial power released just now, her realm was at least 6 stars of the Great Void stage. Sending a 6-star Great Void stage spatial warrior to kill him was considered a big deal. Don't just look at how many Great Void stage experts they killed. There were even 7 stars of the Great Void stage, but those Great Void stage demonic beasts weren't important. As for these 6 stars of the Great Void stage, they definitely had a high status in the entire demonic race. As they were too rare, and at 6-star Great Void stage they weren't far from the Heavenly Tao realm. The 7 of them stared at the woman. She was a demon, so they could sense her aura. Unfortunately, they couldn't escape because she was spatial. She had directly released a spatial seal, giving them no chance to escape. They couldn't use teleportation crystals either. Which demon god temple are you from? Lin Xian's eyes narrowed as he asked. She didn't speak. Lin Xian and Linging exchanged glances. Begin. All right. Shua. Wang Xintong instantly released her domain, raising their realms. As for Lin Xian, he was an 8-star heavenly venerable, raising his strength to near the Great Void stage. Lin Xian's strength doubled, his aura reaching the Great Void stage. The woman suddenly frowned. Indeed, you are an existence that can pose a threat to the demon race. Just a mere heavenly venerable can augment the strength of an entire group. As for you, an 8-star heavenly venerable, you can augment your cultivation to the Great Void stage. The woman looked at Lin Xian with her beautiful eyes. Damn it, there's more. Realm reduction domain. Lin Xian roared as he released his domain. The woman's cultivation level was reduced by 3 stars, leaving her with a cultivation level of the Great Void stage. Her pupils suddenly constricted. Then the corners of her mouth curled up slightly. It's no wonder you heavenly venerables can kill a Great Void stage 7-star. So that's how it is. She was enlightened. Do you think you can escape with just a 2-star difference? Lin Xian sneered as his aura surged. Spatial seal. Lin Xian directly released a spatial seal on the woman. Then do you think you can seal me? She then released her aura, and in the next moment, the calmness on her face disappeared. Gee. Why couldn't she break through the spatial seal released by this person? It was very simple. The realm was just a 2-star difference. Lin Xian's spatial purity was definitely not something she could compare to. Coupled with the augmentation of Lin Xian's nomological laws, she couldn't compare. You came here without investigating anything. Should I say you're stupid or stupid? Myriad Thunder Heavenly Prison. Ha! That you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.